All right, what's up, internet? How y'all doing out there? Word. A rare Wednesday afternoon edition of the Brain Drain. I don't know as though we've ever done a Wednesday show, although we're going to have to be doing more of them during basketball season because it's getting to be that time, and this team is undefeated. I always have to ask this at the beginning of the show, and Jeff, if you're out there, you know why I'm asking. Make sure you guys can hear me and everything's fine on that end. Sometimes I screw up and I don't get the sound set up the way that it should, so I want to make sure you guys can hear me and everything. Yeah, I'll let that go, Pistachio. That's fine. You're welcome to cuss a little bit. Ain't no big deal. I think we're good, though, on the sound. I'm pretty sure. Let's see who we got here in the house. We've already got our first super chatter, BP Rockman. Thank you so much, bro. Every single time you're here, you're like the most consistent thing ever. Joker in the house as well. Hey now. Thank you, sir, for your support of the stream. You're always here too. Two of the real stalwarts of the show. BP Rockman and Joker. Thank you guys for being here. Let's see, Ed Darby's in the house. You're here all the time. Thank you. Plains Old Joe. William Taylor's here almost all the time. My man, Jeff Cheney. I got to meet Jeff at the Lipscomb Auburn basketball game. He and his wife. We'll call her M, first name redacted, and his family, who were sitting. I don't want to floss too much, Jeff, but you were sitting courtside. You were absolutely on the front row. So that makes you a A1 baller. And that's not even a lamp because I'm the one saying it. It's not you promoting yourself. It's me promoting you. So that was awesome. Unlike that game, huh? That football game was not good at all. It was like the opposite of good. Let's see who we got here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Got some folks that already texted me trying to talk about the show and whatnot. We are going to have our usual list of suspects on the show tonight for sure. Mr. BMAT live from Tampa. And I'm sure he's going to be ready to talk. We'll put it that way. Be talking to Jeffrey Lee, who was watching from afar. Jay Lee and I were together at the last Outback Bowl in Tampa, so it was time to flip it a little bit there. The Silent N, Auburn Sports, says, what up, JGT? It's great to have you here, bro. Great name, too. I don't know as though people realize how clever that name is. DHX, is that right? No, DXH? Sorry, man. I guess whatever. Does anyone actually think it'll ever get better under Gus? Certainly not. 4 losses is written in stone. Yeah. The people who are very skeptical of Gus and who didn't want to be that way after the Iron Bowl, which was a great win, are now having to face facts again, and it ain't pretty. The Outback Bowl was not good. There was a lot of Luca Magnotta was set up. No, he wasn't. Let's see. Let's go through this. So the bunker was trying to figure out who was most responsible for that mess today, and I think there's a couple different ways you could look at that. You could say, well, the defense not very good, gave up way too many explosive plays, particularly against the run, something that we don't see a lot of. And but certainly gave up some on the pass. Smoke Monday let one go, and they had some other ones. Love the Cats, a.k.a. Hornatius. Thank you for your support, sir. You're always here, and I appreciate you so much. You know that. I tell you to your face, too, except when I'm making fun of you on the bunker, but you know in real life. In my opinion, and I've kind of gone back and forth on this as I was watching the second half unfold, but I think this was more on the offense, honestly. I mean, I think you're not wrong if you want to say the defense sucked, and the defense certainly did not play a great game, but I think the offense didn't hold the ball long enough, and it kept putting the defense out there tired, and that meant Derek couldn't stay on the field because they were running up the plays, and they weren't able to stay fresh. And Marlon tailed off because he was getting tired, and the offense couldn't possess the ball. And we knew going into the game that Minnesota was going to want to possess the ball, and they finished plus 15 on time of possession, which is insane. I know that's going to drive Gus crazy when he goes back and looks at that. particular stat. Let's pull up a few stats here. I've got a few cut up for you. Oh, first of all, of course, the most important things. What we're going to be drinking today, what I'm going to be drinking today is the Knob Creek. They call it the Single Barrel Reserve. I normally just call it the 9-year. It's a good, solid, hot bourbon, 120 proof. I drank some maybe 2 months ago with a particular selection I bought at State Liquors in Louisville, Kentucky. This one here, my wife picked up for me at the Frisky Whiskey in LaGrange, Georgia, when she was on her way back from one of her girls' trips. But here's one I'm not going to drink today, but I wanted to show you guys. Now, I'm not trying to lamp here, but my man Buddy helped me hook up with these. Some of you guys have had this. This is the rare, difficult to find, impossible to find, I think, at retail, Final Four edition of the Knob Creek. It's actually a 15-year Knob Creek. So this is an awesome bourbon in its own right, but it's made even more awesome because it's the Auburn Final Four bourbon. I'm just going to hold on to this bad boy and not open that today or anytime soon. I will make a pledge to you as a viewer that I will drink it the next time they make the Final Four, which might be 3 or 4 months. I don't know, or 2 or 3 months, whenever the hell that is. What is this? January 1st now, right? But today we're going to be drinking this Knob Creek, the 9-year, and I like it. It's good. Kevin says he knows about the Frisky Whiskey. Hell yeah, you do, because it's a good place to go, man. They have a good selection there. So I'm going to go ahead and open this and pour myself the first 9-year. Oh, it broke apart on me. I have to get that first pour out of the way. DXH in the house. Thank you for your support of the show, bro. Oh, it's breaking up on me some more. Dadgummit. I'm not happy with that. I don't know where my administrative assistant is. She could have handled that for me. She's off work today, by the way. 120 proof, though. You got to be careful with this stuff. Of course, you guys know that I'm not real careful when it comes to the brain drain. I just keep drinking. So this one right here is I'm going to make this one out to you guys. The brain drain was a crazy idea that, honestly, years ago, me and Justin Hokanson talked about doing a show like this. And at the time, I didn't understand how to do it, and he didn't understand how to do it. And I'm not 100% sure the technology was there for a goober like myself to get this done. At the time, we were talking about it in 2013. Justin's now gone, working for Sonic Tools and doing a great job. And he's really grown and become a really, really good dude. But anyway, to you guys, I didn't know if this would work. We did it for the Oregon game as a test thing. We had great response. And as the year went on, we had so many people jump on the show, and the rise of our super chatters have been awesome. Got to write that down. And I just want to say thank you guys for always being here. I mean, there's a bunch of you guys and gals who are here like every single week. You know who you are, and thank you. This is to you. Thanks for making this possible. That's so tasty. That is so damn good. Travis says, watering it down with rocks? Hell no. You know I don't do that. Now, I am responsible. I do drink water along while I'm drinking the bourbon. That's how you stave off a nasty hangover the next day. But anyway, Joker is rustled. And we're going to give you a chance to air your grievances, so to speak, for sure. All right, let's take a look at those stats. I wanted to get that first pour out of the way. We'll look at the cumulatives first. You can see there in total yards, Minnesota ends up with plus 250 on that. Well, 252 officially. And ends up with 215 rushing yards versus 56 for the Tigers. That is completely opposite or transposed of what I would have expected from that. Gus is always like, we're going to run the football, stop the run. And that's exactly the opposite of what they did. They couldn't stop. They couldn't run, and they couldn't stop the run. No problem, Travis. I understand. I get it now. And I didn't take it too bad. I love you guys. Pretty much anybody here in the chat, I love you guys. I love everybody at Auburn Sports anyway. But anyway, weird game. They want to come in and run the football. They can't run it. And then when it comes to stopping the run, what I was seeing is that they were using their tight ends, or H's, however they look at it, to create a wider surface. And then they were kind of outnumbering Auburn at the point of attack. And the reason that kept happening, at least based on what I was seeing, was that Kevin Steele was worried about those two wideouts, as anyone would be, and he talked about them, about how, well, I guess not on the record, but he had a lot of respect for Minnesota's number one and number two wideouts. And so as a result, he was either going two high safeties, which was depopulating the box because they had guys so deep, or he was playing bandit cover zero and trying to bring pressure to force a quick throw, which he generally did. I mean, he was able to force quick throws, but the one time that he went cover zero and wasn't able to get the pressure in, that's when he got beat on that deep throw against Smoke Monday. Christian Tutt came in a blitz off the slot receiver, a little bit slow getting off on that one. Smoke was not ready for that route. He was flat-footed. I don't think he expected it to go inside. He kind of floated outside, and he just got beat. I mean, it's not really his role to go man-to-man with an all-conference wideout. I mean, it's not really what he wants to do. Fat Crack, thank you very much for your support of the show. And you were here almost all the time, and I thank you very much for that. You guys really are the best. The super chatters are like the superstars, although everybody here is. But thank you very much for your support, Fat Crack. Anyway, so the cover zero in that particular situation did not work because the pressure did not get to the quarterback or affect the quarterback. And then Smoke Monday got his hips flipped really before that receiver even got to him, and he's toast. So, yeah, that was part of that story. So since they were so worried about the wide receivers, they were staffing it so they were trying to provide coverage for those guys, and it depopulated the box. And in a lot of cases, it was 7-on-6. And Minnesota took advantage of those numbers because their linemen are so huge. They're really immovable. And then I don't know the exact reasons for this, but I saw a lot of linebackers just kind of misfitting where they would have an opportunity to get to the right hole, and then they just didn't go to the right hole. Or in other cases, they would just pulverize or completely fill a gap like a pro, but it was the wrong gap. I don't know. I just felt like particularly Zacoby was just kind of going too fast. KJ in general seemed to be fine, but Papo was just not aggressive enough today. There were a couple runs there in the third quarter where he was moving backwards at the snap. And I mean, they only had a 6-man box and he's going backward at the snap and they run up the middle. And I mean, Papo ran himself out of the play. And you don't hear that about a linebacker very often. I mean, going backward. Then that center was pulling out or climbing to the second level to get to Papo, and he was pulling out of the second level. I didn't understand what was going on with that one, but, I'm not second-guessing or any of that stuff. Go ahead and start the tape for our friends who are going to listen to this show on the simulcast at a later date. We were taking a look at those cumulatives there. What really stands out to me, of course, total yards, plus 250, rushing yards, plus, 150 or so. And they passed well, 20 of 30, 3 passing touchdowns. I didn't really feel like the pass game was like the reason they won that game, but they used it to just as a coup de grace when they were able to get the run game going. It was a really well executed, well thought out game plan, in my opinion, by Minnesota, and then Auburn didn't defend it very well. Thank you very much for the super chat, Kenny M.F. Powers, who is one of our stalwarts on the bunker. Generally rational and reasonable poster. One of our good guys. For show. So, to me, that tells the tale. I mean, Minnesota's a good team. Better than I thought they would be. They ran the ball more effectively, and then they threw the ball very effectively. And listen, man, at the end of the day, we can talk all day about Kevin. We are going to talk all day about Kevin. We're going to talk about Gus. We're going to talk about Chad. But give Minnesota some credit. They're better than I thought they were. They had a good game plan, and they didn't screw up. They stuck to it and got it done. Let's take a look at a few more numbers. This is Auburn's offense. I'm sorry that it looks a little weird there. It's just I needed to cover that photo box. Bo Nix with an average game for him, 17 of 26 for 176, the 1 touchdown, 0 picks. Generally a fairly decent game for him. No fumbles. I thought his scrambles and pocket movement was better in the first half versus the second half, but kind of a small sample size. He had some crucial runs there during their equalizing touchdown drive in the third quarter. I thought he was good there. And in general, he managed the game fairly well. But he didn't make any crazy plays aside from the throw to Sal Cannella for the touchdown. I thought it wasn't really a read. It was just him keeping his eyes open downfield, not getting too panicked. He flushed out of the pocket forward rather than sideways or backward, and then spotted Sal wide open. It was a good play. It's a play that he would not have made 2 months ago, I don't think. But he didn't make enough of them. Anthony Schwartz ends up being the leading receiver, 6 catches for 49. And I want to say 4 of those came in in a sequence in the first quarter. But anyway, 6 catches on 6 targets is pretty impressive. S. Sim, what up? Thank you for the super chat. Sir or ma'am, I'm not familiar with that name right off. You maybe use a different handle in the bunker, but thank you for your support. And Brad Easterwood, who is always here on the chats. And Easterwood on the bunker for sure. A 2-time or maybe 3-time shout-out recipient. Thank you for your support. JGT makes the losses at least humorous. Thanks, man. You bet it, buddy. Of course. S. Sim says, new this year. See you next year for sure. Hey, I hope you're part of the site. We will be talking about this loss for a long time. And, of course, we've got an undefeated basketball team to cover for sure. We got the game against Mississippi State Saturday afternoon. And we'll probably be right back here for a brain drain. Back to these offensive cumulatives, it's a sordid story down there in the rushing. I mean, Boobie Whitlow, 9 carries for 24. Not good. DJ, 5 carries for 13 yards. Not good. I didn't think he got a lot of opportunities. 5 carries, obviously, but I didn't feel like they were good opportunities. Bo ends up 6 carries for 12, but, that number doesn't really matter. Sean Shivers had the first carry of the game. Couldn't quite get outside. Same deal. Can't really cut at all. He's just kind of a straight-ahead guy. But he ran a guy over with his second carry, ran a guy over in his first carry, but never really had much else after that. Cam Martin got his 1 token carry. Running game just really wasn't there, although, I don't know, that's a little bit of a misnomer to say 26 carries. 6 of those for Bo. I would say 2 of those were planned draws. Yeah. So really, when you're talking about plays from scrimmage, it's probably, 23 carries against 27 throws. Auburn typically runs the ball 65% of the time, so I just wasn't prepared to see Auburn not be able to run the football. That doesn't happen very often. It happened against LSU, but it's LSU. This isn't LSU. This isn't Alabama. This isn't even Florida. This is just kind of a solid defense. I'm surprised, really surprised. Alpha Tiger 08 says, how much does Grimes need to feel comfortable retiring, and who do I make that check out to? You guys are terrible, man. Oh, man. JB may retire. I don't know. If it happens, it'll happen soon. Auburn Orange and Blues raises a very good point, and one we need to talk about today. He or she says, so Chad Morris is going to fix things. I know you're being sarcastic, but it's still a good point. I thought we would see a little bit more of Chad Morris's imprint on what they were doing. And we did see more passing, which maybe has something to do with him, but I didn't really sense any additional complexity to the passing game or any effectiveness to the passing game. It looked fairly normal to me. And Ed Darby notes that Joyner got his 1 pass attempt. You're exactly right. He got his 1 chance, right? If it doesn't work, he's out. I was also surprised when Boobie, I wasn't surprised by this. Boobie fumbled at the goal line again. Prince Tega was Johnny on the spot and picked that up to avoid disaster. And then, as is customary, if anybody else fumbles, you might as well go home. Boobie fumbles. He's in 2 plays later, and he scored. I'm happy for him. I'm glad he had a chance for atonement. I mentioned that in the Game Breakers piece that's on the front of the site right now. And we all like Boobie. He's a good dude. But it surprises me how often he fumbles and how Gus, who hates fumbles, just lets him do it. It's not like he takes him out and sits his ass down for any extended period of time. I'm telling you, I think Boobie could fumble 5 times in a game and Gus would be like, well, just don't do it again. And it goes against everything Gus ever says when it applies to anybody else. Now, look, man, they do need to give the ball to Boobie. I get it. He's a good player. And you don't want to just completely say, sit your ass down and don't ever come back. You're not going to do that, but he fumbles a lot. And I don't think there's any accountability. And I wonder if in his head he's thinking to himself subconsciously, well, I don't really have to work on it because it's not like they're going to ever take me out of the freaking game. I don't know. Man's opinion. Kelsey says Gus will lose 90% of the time when going up against a better coach with average talent. I haven't looked at the numbers, but on face value, I don't know about 90%, but Gus loses a lot of these duels. It is true. I mean, it just is. Grindhard says, the fact that JG is surprised makes me question his football intellect. History says Gus was more likely to lose the game than win it. I was surprised by certain things in the game. My wife asked me, we went on a walk this morning, and she was like, what do you think is going to happen? And I said, well, Minnesota is going to hold the ball, and they're going to have a huge advantage in time of possession, but I just think they're going to have to grind too hard against this run defense, and I think Auburn will slowly put this game away and win about 30-17. That's what I thought would happen. I was pretty close in the sense that I thought Auburn's offense would get about to 30. They got about to 30, 24, whatever. I just didn't think that Minnesota would be able to run the football as well as they did. Good for them. Let's see. Ed Darby says, JG, for real, can you really run an offense that doesn't attack the middle of the field? 85% of Knicks' throws are outside the hash. I don't have the numbers in front of me. They threw middle of the field more this season than I thought they would, because you're right, man. In the past seasons, it has felt like 100% outside the hashes. They did a better job this year of utilizing the middle of the field. But today, I don't remember many of those, no. You might have a good point there. I wonder if that's something that Chad maybe will kind of work on. I mean, really, Chad couldn't have too much of an effect. I mean, he's only been working there a couple, 3 weeks. And for the most part, he doesn't know these kids. So, I mean, it's not like he can come in and be like, check this out, here's what we're going to do. I mean, that's not how it's going to work. Plus, man, he's going to defer to Gus because he even said in his press conference a couple weeks ago, I mean, I have this job because of Gus. I'm a college coach because of Gus. I mean, it's not like Chad's going to come in there and be Mr. Big Dick. You know what I mean? That's just not how he's going to do it. Talon 1 says Gus is 13-24 against top 20 competition. I don't have that number in front of me, but that sounds right. And, yeah, it's a little disheartening for the folks that keep thinking, I'm not sure that Gus is the guy. If you've got questions about Gus being the guy, this is just further ammunition to make you wonder if he's the one Auburn ought to be going with. Bottom line is, though, the contract that he signed with Stephen Leith a couple years ago all but confirms that he was going to be here. I mean, they just don't want to, when it first went down, and last year, I'm talking about a year and a month ago or whatever, when I thought people were going to fire him, they were going to fire him. It didn't happen because of the money. That was the bottom line. This year, there was a point when I thought they were going to try to fire him, and then they got a little bit better. But it was still a money problem. And looking back on it, I still don't think that it was going to be able to be pushed through because of the money. And I think on the bunker, sometimes folks are like, oh, we can come up with $40 million. It's no big deal. I don't know, man. Even if you're Mr. Louder or you're Mr. Rain, I still think $40 million is a lot of money. I mean, you don't just throw that out. If the program was absolutely at zero, can't beat Ole Miss, can't beat Vandy, you got to do what you do to save it. I don't know as though it's at that point. Some of my friends who are also thoughtful Auburn observers, sports writers, but I'm not going to say their names, and people that work at Auburn now, I think about it, they don't think that Auburn's at the point where, the program's going to go down in flames at this point. I do wonder sometimes if it, some of the allure comes off. But look, man, they just signed a really good class, and they got a really good chance of getting Broderick Jones, a 5-star offensive tackle, which would be a nice elixir for them. I think they got a good chance of getting him, which would bump their recruiting class probably to top 5-ish. I mean, they're still recruiting kids. Let's see what else we got here. SM says, is Kevin staying? Kevin won't go anywhere else. I think it's possible that Kevin would retire. I don't have a lot of insight on that one. Kevin is an incredibly hard person to read, and I kind of pride myself on being somebody who's pretty good at reading people. And he's one of those people I can't read him. If you guys know him or you've met him, I think you know what I'm talking about. He's a tricky one. He's a very calculating person. He likes to make it seem like he's just Mr. Country, and let me tell some funny stories about, and use a bunch of down home colloquialisms and funny little stories, but he's actually a very calculating and leave it at that. Grindhart says finished 4th in our division. Interesting. In recruiting. Yeah, but I mean, you're still getting the kids, man. I mean, if they're getting a bunch of 4 stars and 5 stars, I mean, shit. Yeah, they're not recruiting at the level of Alabama. Not many people are. Pretty much Clemson is. That's it. And we could talk about A&M sometime. Jimbo's got his own problems there. Recruiting's not really one of them. Dual GR says, I need to know if JB goes. I can't answer that for you. If I had to guess, I would say that he's going to go, but I don't have any particular insight on that. I'm going to let this one go, Alpha Tiger. I don't know why. It's just funny. He says he just got off the phone with 2 men in a truck. Movers will be at the Grimes residence Friday morning at 9 a.m. Decided to do the right thing, give him tomorrow to pack his shit. Alpha Tiger, you're the worst, man. I don't know why you would be shitting on JB. I really do think JB takes way too much gruff on the bunker for problems that I think are more deep-seated. I mean, would I nominate him for assistant coach of the year at Auburn? No, I wouldn't. But at the same time, I don't consider him like the weakest link of everything they do. I really don't. I think he has problems that are more difficult than people realize. And I also don't think, and I've mentioned this on the show before, if JB was sitting here next to me right now and I said, JB, who are your 5 guys you'd really like to roll with every week? I don't think it would match the 5 that they actually roll with every week. Leave it at that. Let's see. Redman443 says, how does Gus Malzahn have a job? We just kind of have addressed that. I don't think the program's in flames at all, and they would owe him a lot of money if they wanted to buy him out. We're talking, what is it now, $26 million? Something like that. Plus, you'd have to get the staff out. Plus, you'd have to hire a new coach and get him out of his contract. It's probably a $40 million transaction, and you can argue that the damage, if there's not, if they do see sagging attendance next year or whatever, the damage could be worth $40 million. And I've heard people say that. I'm not sure I buy that myself, but we'll see. Steven says, it's my birthday. Can I get a War Eagle? Well, War Eagle, Steven. If it is indeed your birthday, and even if it's not, you still got it. Low Roller says, Seth's attitude sucks. Seth's a tricky one, dude. If you know his personality, he's super laid back, and he's kind of I don't know. I used to say this about Cam Newton. I just felt like Cam was like working on a different wavelength than the rest of us. He would say things that didn't make sense. He would have a weird speaking cadence that I really haven't ever seen somebody else have before. Seth is not quite as out there as Cam Newton was, in my opinion, but Seth's out there. He's kind of his own person, and he's walking to the beat of his own drum, and I don't know. I think he's a hard guy to assess because it looks like he's being lazy, and he's not. He's a very calm individual. Of course, Darius Slayton was a very calm individual, and he didn't have these problems. Low Roller says, Seth's not a different cat, just a terrible attitude, worse than mine right now, LOL. I understand. I've talked to Seth enough where I honestly feel like he's fine. I just think, does he get dispirited? Yes, he does. And I think it's something he needs to work on, but I don't think he's like a cancer or anything like that. NFLPA 79 alum, it's kind of a specific name there. Gus thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. Everyone who thinks that about themselves usually isn't. First of all, I agree with your assessment that the people who act like they're the smartest guy in the room often aren't. That is true. I don't know if Gus is really that guy per se. I've spent more time talking to him in the last 8 months, probably, than I have in the 3 years before that. I feel like I have a better feel for him. I think he's chilled out on that a little bit. I know you guys are frustrated with the game today, and I think that he, in general, did not do a very good job. But I don't think it's a function of him trying to be the smartest guy in the room today. I think he just got his ass beat. I don't know. I mean, let's see. Rich says, JGT, you do your best connect? I don't know what that means. What's the excuse going to be next year? OLDL. Yeah, that's a good one, man. I'm not sure. You know, we've got a whole new offensive line. That's one you can already start with. It's tough to replace Marlon and Derek being gone. That's another one we can go with. This is the first year we've had Chad Morris. There's another one you can go with. One that they won't use, but they won't use on the record, but they might say behind the scenes, we just have too much depth at tailback. I can see that one coming along. Another thing that we got to keep in mind is they really didn't have a lot of major injuries this year, if you think about it. I mean, offensive line stayed intact the whole way. Bo never got hurt. Booby got hurt a little bit, but he was only gone for a little while, and they had DJ, who I thought was as good as Booby, if not better. Wideouts were pretty good, except Schwartz was out for a little while, but they still have dudes to fix that. Defensively, the linebackers stayed intact. Defensive line stayed intact. Defensive back stayed intact. So they didn't have a lot of injury problems. I mean, Mark Anthony was out, but he was out the whole way. So I don't know. They got great injury luck this year and still didn't make much of it. 9-4, not a terrible season, but certainly not one that people are going to remember. And he kept talking about getting the 10 wins. That didn't happen. Someone asked earlier if we're drinking. We are drinking indeed. We're drinking this Knob Creek 9-year today. And I don't want to lamp too much, but I do have my own copy of the Knob Creek 15-year, the Final Four, Auburn Final Four edition. If you can see that, but it says Auburn Men's Basketball Final Four 2019. This was barreled on June 8th, 2004, and selected on July 23rd, 2019. So that's the 15-year. And it commemorates Auburn's run to the Final Four, which I'm going to keep until Auburn makes the next Final Four, at which point I will drink it, and then we will get a new bottle commemorating the next Final Four, which may be just 3 or 4 months from now. All right, we're going to probably fire up the phone lines. We probably need to take some calls, don't we? Do we have anything else we need to discuss on here before we get started? Points of the game, I don't know, man. I just, couldn't run the football. Weren't allocating enough guys to run defense because they were worried about the wideouts. Adjustments not good enough on either side of the ball. I think myself, if you're asking me who's responsible or what side's responsible, I think this is more on the offense than the defense. Even though the numbers are bad on the defensive side, I'm not saying they did a great job, but I think Auburn's got to possess the ball. You can't go minus 15 on time of possession. You can't do it. This is what Muschamp was bitching about 5-6 years ago. He said, Gus, you run your offense. I'm not telling you how to do that, but you cannot go 3 and out all the time and leave my defense on the field. You need to make an adjustment to your offense so you don't go 3 and out as much, because when I get my ass beat because you keep going 3 and out, that ain't on me, that's on you. And so that's kind of how I'm thinking about it right now. Again, I don't think Kevin Steele knocked it out of the park today, and we're going to have Jay Lee on in a little while, and he's going to tell you the same thing, that it's, he's been harping for a couple months now that, hey, this defense is not elite. But, yeah. All right, we got our first call coming in. You guys can't even hear that ring, can you? That's probably a good thing. Hey, caller, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
What's up, Ruxpin? How you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm doing all right after that game. How about you, Jay?
Good. I want to say right off the top here, Ruxpin, I was a little disappointed in a bunker decision you made a couple days ago. I wish you wouldn't do that.
I won't do it anymore.
Okay.
Don't worry. I was disappointed in myself, and I realized.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the game today, Ruxpin? I know you're not exactly stoked.
It wasn't great, man. It wasn't great, and I mean, I'm back to being disappointed with Gus again. Like, I'm still on the Bo Nix train, but I can't understand being happy with that play calling. It was absurd, in my opinion. What do you think?
The play calling to me in and of itself wasn't terrible, but they just couldn't get anything done. And they kept going 3 and out or like 4 and out or 5 and out. They couldn't sustain any drives. And, that was an absolute disaster as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I feel bad for Derek Brown and Marlon Davidson and Jensen going out like that, man. That's tough for them, and I don't know. Obviously, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, and I mean they came back. They could have passed on the bowl game to get ready for the NFL. They wanted to play another game. They got out there and then they got pushed around, and I'm sure that's frustrating for them.
I know, and I wanted to see that be like a statement win or like an encouraging victory, and now we start off the new year with this.
Yeah.
It's disappointing, but JG, I love you. I love Jay Lee. I love B Matt, and I'm starting to become in love with Nate King. But keep doing your thing for a little bit, kid. I'll see y'all later.
All right, see you, Rux. Kind of a short call from Ruxpin. He usually gives us a little more than that, but that's all right. He might be a little frustrated with the game. Yeah, I was kind of wondering how this would go today when they lay an egg like that. How people are affected because, it is, after all, it is a Wednesday afternoon, and you get frustrated. There's other things to do. I don't know. Saturday night, I mean, what are we doing? We're drinking. But on a Wednesday night, maybe not. Got a call coming in here from the area code 260. I don't know that one. Hey, caller, welcome to the show. How you doing?
JG, my man. How we doing?
Who I got on the horn, bro?
This is Mama Dudette.
Hey, what up, man?
How we doing?
Word. You were calling us from the Chicago suburbs, if I'm correct, right?
No, Indiana. Close enough.
Word.
Close enough. Everything is just about a suburb of Chicago. 100-mile radius. So.
Yeah, hell yeah. What are you drinking tonight, Mama Dudette? You got anything good?
Listen, I'm a little bit more sober than Ruxpin at the moment, rolling with some LaCroix. But still got 2 kids running around, so got to stay woke until they go to bed, if you will.
So what do you think, man? Where do you stand with this team right now?
Man, well, not too much good to say about the game today, but I'm struggling with how much stock to put in these bowl games. I think if you win, you get way too much credit about momentum going into the next year. Enough weird stuff happens in bowl games every year, I feel like I just don't know how much stock to put into it, to be honest with you. But it's not good. I will say this. I think for as much as we've dragged Gus through the mud all year long and praised Kevin Steele, I think I've never seen our defensive line and linebackers get pushed back so much. I couldn't even believe what I was seeing. We hadn't seen that all year, especially that last drive where I thought we were going to get the ball back one more time, and they just kept driving the pile, play after play. It seemed like. So that to me was frustrating, and I think some of the offensive stuff does have to do with time of possession because you have a muffed punt.
Oh yeah.
Defense doesn't get off the field, so that is some possessions that I do think we did move the ball at times. So I'm not mad at the play calling per se. I think the execution was bad. The offensive line was bad as they've been all year long.
Yeah.
But I don't question the play calling. I don't think that's the biggest issue that we have by any stretch.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Ruxpin mentioned that. I mean, the play calling, I'm not saying it was great, but I agree with you. I think the problems they've had all season were the problems they had today, and it was just kind of more of the same when it gets ugly,
Yeah, well, it was more of the same, and then something new, which was the defensive line just getting their ass beat over and over again.
Yeah, it's surprising. That doesn't happen very often, at least for not that group.
No, and I mean, it was just that sort of a game, right? It was whoever's going to win the line of scrimmage seemed like they were going to have the upper hand. I do think that muffed punt was a turning point in the game. I think if we get the ball back there, you're looking at a different ball game. But, it's types of turnovers that define every football game that I've ever seen. So just wasn't our day.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Tut's been kind of wobbly this year. He's had his moments. I want to say he fumbled one in the Iron Bowl, but they got it back, and then he fumbled one today, and they lost it. And yeah, I mean, it was a killer. But again, it was first quarter. I mean, you got to be able to overcome that stuff, and I think they did. That's not the reason they lost, but you're right. It didn't help them. Certainly didn't help them.
No, it did not. Although I will say I did have a Auburn defense special teams touchdown as a prop bet today, so that felt pretty good.
No doubt. Nice job.
So that was nice, but yeah, that's about all I got. I appreciate you, JG. I will say I think we could have used the JJ Pegues Wildcat package in some short yardage situations.
Hell yeah.
Pumped for that in 2020. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Chad. I'm still, like I said, I think we've got to keep the bowl game in perspective. I'm not thrilled, but I think we blow wins and losses in bowl games out of proportion. So still cautiously optimistic for 2020 with a weaker schedule. Hopefully we can make some noise.
Outstanding. Mamadou, appreciate you being part of the show, bro.
All righty. Y'all take it easy.
Be good. From the Indiana, Chicago suburbs. That's where area code 260 is, apparently. A reasonable and rational perspective there on the bowl game, and it happens to be one that I agree with. I don't personally put a lot of stock in bowls unless there's something at stake, meaning you're in one of the playoff games, or back in the day when Auburn played like in 2004 in that Sugar Bowl, and there was potentially some national championship implications there. If you're just playing a regular Outback Bowl against a regular Minnesota team, I don't really care that much, but y'all do, and I understand. Hey, caller, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey, JG, how are you?
Hey, now. Who am I talking with?
The Runner 24.
Hey, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. How are you?
Fighting the power one more day. What's your attitude right now? You bummed out about this loss, or not really worried about it?
No, it sucks. I mean, it was one of those typical Auburn, Gus Malzahn, just pee down his leg type games, and it's just brutal to watch and just a little bit painful. And a lot of it I thought was self-inflicted. You watch the punt return, that was painful, but then you get into a bad spot and it's 2 down territory on the 40, and you run a double reverse leaf flicker. That just sort of epitomizes what that offense was, which was not a real offense. It's just do what you do, and it doesn't make a lot of sense when you sort of watch it from afar, being ITV as a regular ass dude, I guess.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that flea flicker, because I thought that was a particularly ugly situation. I didn't like that call. Obviously, it didn't work. It just seemed like they were grasping at straws, and that was a bad look. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, and that's a play that maybe on a first or second down, if you want to run it from your 35, it's fine. It's not a terrible call. 3rd and 3 on the 45 or 50, whatever it was. I just don't understand how you run that, and that just it comes back to him just not being able to develop the passing game and sort of coming up with sort of these harebrained ideas on how to get a big play. That's frustrating as all can be as you watch this, and you just sit there and you wonder, why? What are you doing?
It was, from an offensive perspective, a very worrisome game, because I just didn't think they ever had the upper hand. And maybe you could argue in the first half of the first quarter they did, but after the muff punt, they just seemed to kind of lose their mind. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it was tough to watch, and you sit there and you grasp at these false hopes of 9 wins, get to 10 wins, maybe everything works out, and then you get to watch something like that, and you're like, are you ever going to really turn the corner and be just a consistent 10, 11-win program? And it's hard to see it when you watch something like that today.
I know. They were pushing for their 10th win. It was going to be a big deal, and fell a little bit short on that one. I don't know how much stock I put into the loss itself, because I'm just like, it's a bowl game, and I don't know, it doesn't really matter. But At the same time, you want to see them get better on offense after they hire Chad Morris, and we did not see that, and it's frustrating.
Agreed. And part of it is that it's not yet. Maybe the bowl games matter a little bit less, but it's just the same symptom of the entire season of where you're just doing something dumb on offense that costs you in a key moment, whether it's that, whether it's, you go back in the regular year and they just can't get anything done against the Florida, or, the hurry up when it works against Georgia at the end, but they are just dumb for the first 50 minutes of that football game. It's just more of the same, and that's the frustrating part. It's not necessarily, I agree with the fact that they didn't win the bowl game and get to 10. It's more of, when are things going to change and get stuff sorted out?
Yeah. Looking back on the season, the runner, which one frustrates you the most? I mean, you got the LSU game where DJ steps out of bounds for no reason, and they end up losing that game by a few points. The LSU game you mentioned, the Georgia game you mentioned, where they don't even get going until the last, whatever it was, quarter. This game, which was just kind of a mess from the second quarter on. Which one pisses you off the most?
To be honest, of the games, of those, it's not even that. And part of this is semi-partial because I live up in the Northeast, so I don't get to games a lot. But out at Gainesville and watching that game sort of unfold like in person, and just not being able to find any way for Bo to succeed on offense or to get a breather or to figure out how to run that ball except for that one drive, which then resulted in Bo throwing an interception in the end zone. The Florida game is the one that just makes me want to bash my head into a wall.
And I didn't even mention that one to you, and I should have. I left that out. Forgot about that one. I'm with you completely. I even asked Gus a couple times myself, why did you not take Bo out of the game and at least give him a minute to reflect and play Joey? And he just kept saying, we just wanted to go with Bo. I think it's because he'd made the decision in his own head that we're going with Bo no matter what at this point. I think Joey got that memo, and he took off.
Yeah, I agree. And even if you didn't yank Bo, I don't know. You run a couple of read options where you tell, as Bo tends to do, you tell him to either keep it or hold it. You let him run the ball a little bit, and you play a little bit of actual football, and you get banged up, and maybe that helps sort of sorting you back out as opposed to just keep throwing the ball to ghosts. And that whole offensive series was just too rough to watch.
Yeah.
And of course, it was, like I said, the game I went to, and it just makes me sick, to be quite honest, at least from a football perspective.
Yeah. Well, hey, Runner, I think this is the first time you've called in this year. Am I right?
It is. I tried a few other times and didn't make it in, and just was starting to make some dinner here and figured let me give it a shot. So
glad to have you on, bro.
I appreciate the chat, and enjoy your bourbon.
Well, be sure and check in. We're going to be doing this during basketball season too, so there you go.
Sounds good. Take care.
Be good. The Runner 24, ladies and gentlemen, from somewhere in the Northeast. I don't want to say where and when. I want to get back with some of the chats here, some of the folks in the chat that I have not. I'm sorry, guys. When I get the calls going, I have a hard time keeping up. No, Cleveland Tiger is in the chat again, someone who's with us almost all the time. MW Deve, whose numbers I almost always respect, I should say. 0-17 against the 5 best programs in the Southeast on the road and in major bowl games. Not a coach on the level Auburn wants it to be at. I don't know if that's true, but I generally trust NWD to have that right. Here comes a call from the 404. Let's see what's up. Oh, I know who this is. How you doing, S-Town?
Fire Gus.
I haven't had you on the show in a while, bro.
This is an S-Town.
Oh, damn it. I'm sorry. He's calling also on the other line. My bad. Who I got on the horn?
It's Alpha Tiger.
Oh, I'm sorry, Alpha. I saw you in the chat saying you were trying to get through, so I'm glad you had a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you have a good Christmas?
Well, hell yeah. I'm still here, and I'm still breathing. I'm still bipedal. That's really all I can ask at this point. How'd you do?
Sounds pretty good. What you been drinking tonight?
Okay,
I don't think you talked about that yet.
I'm drinking the Knob Creek 9-year. It's a little hot. It's 120 proof. It's delicious, but I also was lamping earlier because I have a bottle of the 15-year Knob Creek that is the Auburn Final Four commemorative bottle, but I didn't drink out of that yet.
Okay. Sounds pretty good.
What are you drinking, bro?
Jameson Black Barrel myself.
Ooh, that sounds tasty.
it was a gift, so I figured I'd enjoy that, bring in the new year, and try to mourn this loss.
Oh yeah, I know.
Drown my sorrows.
I know you're bummed about this, dude. I know you really wanted them to win, and then not only do they lose, but they lose in a way that you kind of predicted.
Well, I mean, it's Gus being Gus. A weak offensive line yet again. We've talked about this all year, so I mean, it's not really that surprising. It's more just kind of what are we actually going to do about it? I mean, so I know you kind of talked about Grimes. You don't, I guess, personally think that he'll be back, but who say he is let go? Who do you think that Gus would pursue?
On the short list for me, and I haven't talked to Gus about this because it's just not something I would ask him before JB were to leave, but I think Ryan Pugh would be a guy he would really, really like to have, who is currently the offensive line coach and coordinator at Troy, and obviously a former Auburn player and a guy who's really risen through the ranks. I think he'd be a guy they'd take a really, really close look at.
Do you think that would be a good move? I mean, we get to Gus a lot of crap all the time about hiring Auburn people just because they're Auburn people and Gus people, and not necessarily because they're the best coach.
Fair criticism for sure, but I just knowing Ryan as I do or did, I haven't really talked to him much lately in the last few years, but he's an independent thinker, so I wouldn't think of him as like a genuflect before Gus kind of guy. He's a pretty intense dude, and he's been coaching away from Gus for a long time. I would not call him a Gus disciple. If anything, he's probably a Jeff Grimes disciple. So, yeah, I think that would be a good hire, but there might be other guys he's thinking about. I don't know.
Well, Jeff Grimes was a better coach than JB, but do you think that Gus is actually going to give Chad Morris leeway to work with Bo Nix? I mean, how much influence do you think Morris is actually going to have at the end of the day?
I think he'll have a lot of influence with Bo. I think Gus will let him work a lot with Bo, specifically, his mechanics, which I think are pretty good as it is, but just kind of pocket awareness and how to manage games. I think Chad's going to be able to help with that, and I think Gus will empower him to do that. As far as strategically what they're going to call next year, I just don't know. I mean, I think that Chad has a lot to offer in the pass game. I just don't know how much of that Gus is going to be open to. Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, we all kind of question how much Gus is open to anything. I guess to change subject a little bit, who do you think is going to win the basketball game Saturday?
Auburn Tigers? Hell yeah, man. At this point, I'm not picking against Auburn. So,
do you have a projection of how you think they're going to play in the SEC, and what do you think their SEC record will be?
I think they're going to win 14-ish games. I mean, I think people who think they're going to go undefeated are just got their head in the clouds, but because they've got some issues. I did a video on this the other day just talking about I think they need more bucket getters. I think they need better shooting, and I'm unconvinced that Javon is going to be really, really solid for them all the way through. So I think they're going to drop some games, but it's still a good team, and it's still an NCAA tournament team, and it's a team that if they get the right draw in the NCAA tournament, they're going to have a chance to make a lot of noise.
That's fair. I guess one last football question. Do you see any other staff changes other than potentially JB Grimes?
Sure. JB, I will keep my eye on Kevin, and I'll also keep an eye on how the name's escaping me. Defensive backs coach came over from Memphis.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
I
can't think of his name either, but I know.
I'm 47 and I forget names sometimes. But, yeah.
Not in the brief, but the other one. Woodson.
Right. Marcus Woodson. Yeah. I think he's going to be a threat to go to Florida State. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. I don't know if he will or he won't, but yeah.
You said Kevin. Do you think there's a possibility he retires?
Yeah, that would be it. I don't think he's going anywhere else. I think he just might retire. He's of that age. He's got his time in. At some point, I think Kevin's going to say, fuck it, I'm out. I'm going, he is going to retire on the shores of South Carolina. And, I don't know if he wants to do that now or he wants to do that 3 years from now. I just never know with him. He's a hard guy to read.
Who do you think they go after for a defensive coordinator? Should he retire?
Yeah, that's just so far out there. I don't know. Kevin does a great job. I know that we joke about how it's elite or not elite, but he still does a good job with his defense. So I think that would hurt, and I don't know exactly who he would go after. It would probably be a step down from Kevin, in my opinion.
I mean, I would have to say if he's probably going to do it in the next 2 or 3 years, he'd probably do it now because he's losing Derek Brown, Marlon Davidson, a lot of key players in this defense. And, I mean, on paper, you would have to think that this defense is going to take a huge step back in the next year. why not go out with one of the best defenses Auburn's had in about 10 years, 15 years?
Yeah, I'm not. Okay, first of all, losing Derek and Marlon really hurts, and they're not going to be able to go man for man and plug those holes back up. I agree with you there, but their linebackers are going to all be back. They're good. Defensive backs, they're not all going to be back, I don't think, but it's still a really good group in the back. He has done a great job recruiting. I know you would agree with that, and he has played his younger guys enough to where if they jump in next year, they've got a chance to play at a decent level because they have some experience. So these are the guys he really wants to go into battle with. I don't think he's going to be that bummed out about those guys leaving him, and he'd love for them to stay. But I don't think he looks at this roster and says, shit, I can't win with these guys. I promise you Kevin doesn't think that. So I just don't know. I think he's going to have to look inside and say, do I have the passion and the fire to do this a whole nother year? We'll just have to see.
Sounds good. All right. Well, I appreciate your
Alpha, I appreciate you, man.
taking the call.
I know that you kind of give Gus hell, but I like the way you do it, man. You don't go low blows and you don't call Christie names and stuff like that. I think you keep it on wax, as Ice Cube would say.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, I'm just holding out for Christy when she finally realizes she can do better than Gus.
And there he goes. Thanks, Alpha Tiger. We'll see you, bro.
Have a good one. Bye.
Oh, man, that's funny. Hey, I do want to give a shout-out to someone I know is listening out there on their drive home. My man Joe, last name redacted, a guy I hang out with at the basketball games, but he is definitely a football fan and an Auburn guy through and through. So shout-out to wherever you are right now, Joe, out there. I do have a call coming in, but I wanted to catch up on a few of these chats. I know somebody was sitting here asking me, TD says, JG, any thoughts on if how you're going to cover the Mississippi State basketball game? Hard to pass up experiencing that Starkville pregame atmosphere in the Cotton District. That's a good question. I mentioned that on the bunker the other day. My initial plan was to go to Mississippi State and cover the game live because I feel like the team deserves that. Undefeated and ranked in the top 10, but I really want to do a show too. And if I can't do a show from Mississippi State, I either have to stay home and commit to the show, or I've got to commit to going, and I'm still kind of undecided, but it seemed like a good number of folks wanted me to do a show after that game, so I may end up staying home from that. And I don't want to ask Matt or Nate to go over there because they've been down in Tampa for the last week, and I'd like for them to get home and stay home for a little while and just get themselves recharged. It's tough being on the road at a bowl game. I know that you're in paradise, so to speak, but you're away from your family, and it just sucks when it goes more than about 2 or 3 days. I don't care how young or old you are. This person's been calling. They've been assertive. Let's get them on the horn. Hey, caller, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Doing fine. How are you guys?
Hey, now. Who I got on the horn?
You got Cardeja 1-2.
Hey, how you doing, man? I haven't seen you in a minute.
Damn it. I have been pretty rough. Got pneumonia.
Oh, God.
For 2 weeks, and then it got better right around Christmas Eve, and I got around some children. I mean, that sounds terrible, but got strep after that, and I'm just now coming around.
Damn, how old are you, bro? Like, you don't have to give me the exact number, but
yeah, I'll be 41 in 12 days.
Yeah, man. Once you hit 35 and you get those, it's a bitch, man, to get over that stuff.
Man, I can't shake it off. It's been crazy. But I was gonna say, and this is a little against the grain, but I hope everybody's having a happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year, guys.
I think our kickoff return for a touchdown threw us off.
Interesting concept.
Yes, I'm going against the grain here. I think it threw us off and put our defense back out there, and Minnesota had a great game plan. I mean, they just worked us.
They did.
And I feel like maybe if we got the ball and then scored and gave our defense a break, it would have been kind of nice. But we didn't. So I think that obviously Tut's fumble, I would earmark that as absolutely fact as a problem. But I think it was the touchdown return threw us way off because we never do that.
The more I think about it, you might have a good point there, bro. Because all of a sudden they go up 10 points. They've only run 3 plays at that point. And
Exactly.
They're probably thinking, all right, we're good. And then you're not.
and throw our defense back out there again, and they dink and dunk all down the field on us. man, I'm just saying, I think it's just a weird point of view, but I just kind of want to throw it out there. I'm sure I'll get ragged
Not too
ragged
much.
on it. But, man, I just want to throw that out there.
You know what? I mean, it seemed like a weird idea when you first said it, but the more I think about it, you
Thank
might
you.
have something there.
It just threw off everything. And it was a great play. I love it and love Noah. But, man.
And then you think about so you got Igbenogany takes that back 96 yards, and then Tut loses the punt, and they score off of it. And then it's like all of a sudden it turned around so fast on you, you know?
Exactly. I mean, yeah. I mean, we've had our offense on the field for like no plays.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, and you're still in neutral offensively. Really, it's hard to get in gear.
We never got in rhythm, which is, I mean, I don't know if Gus ever gets in rhythm, but he always talks about it.
No doubt.
That's so much bull crap. But yeah, I just wanted. I'm glad you picked up. I just wanted to get heard because I think it's a very weird point of view, but I don't think I'm wrong exactly.
Hey, which loss pissed you off the most this year?
Georgia, probably.
Just because of the way that they offensively they were just nowhere until late in the third quarter.
They were nowhere, and they showed up just to make it interesting enough. It's like a B porno movie. Like there's just enough hot tits in there that you keep watching.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that either, Cardea.
Man, I'm a weird dude, but I got some points of view that, you know, if you think about it, you may agree.
That's good stuff, man. Hey, I hope you feel better though, for reals.
Yeah, man, I've been sick.
I hope hope you can get some alcohol in your body and get that stuff cleared out, bro.
Man, being this sick, I've developed a crippling addiction to black cherry, White Claw, or Truly. Truly's classier.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
I know. I just made it public.
Oh
yeah,
no!
Because it feels good on my throat, and I get drunk. So there's that.
Anything, whatever it takes to feel better, bro. Whatever it takes to feel better, Cardea.
That's right. We're on the same team on that.
All right, bro. You be good, all right?
Happy New Year, man.
See you, man. You too.
Bye.
There's Cardea. That was pretty funny. Let's take this call from the 205. Hey, caller, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
JG.
Word. Who I got on the horn?
This is Auburn alumni.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm just peachy, man. How are you?
Dude, I'm pissed off. The last 3 or 4 times you've called, I knew it was you right away, but this time I missed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it hurts me. It's okay. No worries.
How is our most rational and reasonable caller taking this loss?
About like everybody else, that this is the same song and dance we've seen for years and years, and it's sort of kind of, you know, it's Al Pacino, Godfather 3. It's like every time I'm out, they pull me back in, and only it's reversed. Every time I'm in, I pull me back out because it's, you know, I will say this. I just now hopped on. I don't know what anybody else has talked about it. I heard the last caller. One slight thing I disagree with you on, man, is bowl games not mattering.
Okay.
I think right now, you talk to anyone in Ann Arbor, Michigan, or you talk to people in Auburn, I think these bowl games really matter a lot because now, instead of everybody feeling awesome from the Iron Bowl, I think that a lot of the Iron Bowl glimmer has worn off because, once again, we are losing to a team that, I'm sorry, there is no way in any year ever that Auburn should ever lose to a Minnesota or a Central Florida. It's just not. I mean, what is it? They have, I believe, 5 players that were 4 stars or better on their entire roster.
I know, man.
You had an entire month. You have a generational Tracy Rocker level talent at D-tackle playing. You have all your studs playing. You've had a month to prepare. There is no reason for on every – and it's not just Gus. I mean, it's – first thing I'll say is what did I say after the Florida game and after – you know, the first thing I'm always going to say is, where's the deep shots? I saw multiple throws to Schwartz, but I swear they were all 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards,
yeah.
You know, sideline. Where were the deep shots? Where were they? And don't tell me you were scared about Minnesota's front seven or Minnesota's secondary. I know they got Antoine Winfield Jr. He's good. But my Lord in heaven, you've got 4- and 5-star recruits all over the field. Why are we running? It just felt so off. And I will agree that the kick return. I'm never going to be upset if we return a kick for a touchdown, but the weirdness of our offense being on the field like 3 plays in the first 10 minutes was weird. But that being said, it doesn't matter if, for example, Tut fumbles or not. They manhandled us on both sides of the ball. Like, our front 7 was getting handled like I never thought they would by, Minnesota just running right at us for 250 yards on us or something like that. And then for our offensive line, yet again, to just get, smashed by an inferior defensive line. You ran, I believe, 5 true runs in the first half. I think that's right. And there was no flow. Once again, in every loss we've had, you're out there, you're watching the game, and you're like, there's just no flow to the offense. There's no rhyme or reason to how we're running plays, how we're calling plays. DJ Williams, it felt like, didn't touch the ball. I think he touched it one time in the first half, I believe. I'm not sure. Boobie, same deal. And people were like, oh, we couldn't run. I think the first runs we tried were like a sweep or an end around with Shivers.
Yeah.
And then it was just, Cam. And God bless Cam. He's a great kid. But he's just not the number one guy and shouldn't be in there. And there's just no rhyme or reason to what we do, Jay. And it's just – and this was the one time all year where – other than, the Bama game, but that's a ridiculous receiving group. But this is the one time where I saw us physically get manhandled on defense. Like, Minnesota came out and took our lunch from us. The final 8 minutes, they converted, 2 or 3 times to where we didn't get a chance. We didn't get back on the field after the 8-minute mark. We weren't on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep running into this where Gus looks completely unprepared offensively. And the thing that's crazy about it is the bowl game, you have a month to get ready for these games, a month. And, if you're going to sit there and you're going to tell us this is a business trip and all that, then why is this the least physical we've seen our team all season long on both sides of the ball? I haven't seen anybody. I didn't see LSU. I didn't see Georgia. I didn't see anybody take our manhood on the lines of scrimmage like Minnesota. We're not talking about the Vikings. This is the Gophers.
Yeah. I know,
taking
man.
our manhood like they did.
Surprising.
And that's troubling, man. And, Michigan fans are saying the same thing. Harbaugh loses again. Loses to Saban in his bowl game. These bowl games matter from perception of, the fan base is number one. But all that goodwill you had at the Iron Bowl, and now what is everyone talking about? We lost to freaking Minnesota. And then we didn't just lose. You look at the stats, and we get doubled up on yardage, doubled up on time of possession, absolutely annihilated. Rushing yards 215 to 56.
I know,
Minnesota?
Man. It doesn't happen very often against anybody.
Yeah. No. So, it's just a proverbial cycle of you're just waiting for their shoe to drop every year. And Tank Bigsby coming in, and we get another great class, but when are all these great – because we've recruited great all the entire time Gus has been here. Even when Chiswick was there, we've been a top 10-ish in that vicinity recruiting since 2009 when Chiswick got here. And it's been pretty consistently in that range. So you're supposedly got all this talent on the roster. Why are you dropping games to Central Florida and Minnesota and getting blasted by Mississippi State every odds and end on a year? This kind of stuff is what drives people nuts. And this is why national media, when you guys are like, oh, quit picking on Gus, he's so good, you guys should be so excited to build a statue for him. We build a statue for him. If he would continue to play like he does against Saban, against the Minnesotas of the world, against the UCFs of the world, we build a damn statue. But you don't do that. You beat Bama, and that is your lone shining star, and then you follow it up. You do it. You beat 2-1 teams in 2017, and how do you follow it up? You fall flat on your face in the championship game, and you lose to Central effing Florida. And then this year, you beat Alabama, toughest schedule in the nation. We only lost our so-and-so. How do you follow that up? By the absolute worst freaking performance on both sides of the ball against Minnesota. So this is why, rational people, it doesn't matter. Everyone in the Auburn fan base has every right to be upset as hell with Gus and the way this team's performed consistently with him, which is consistently inconsistent.
Yeah.
That is Gus in a nutshell. And it drives me up the wall. And it's just, dude, it completely has faded any of the excitement I have to the Iron Bowl and the recruiting and all that, because none of that matters when you consistently see this happen every single year. There's no doubt in my mind next year we have a much easier schedule. But does anyone really think we're not going to go 9-3, probably lose to their three rivals? We may beat them, but we may most likely not. And then you go to another bowl game, and he's won 2 games, Jay, in his tenure, and those 2 teams he's beaten are Memphis and Purdue. If we were talking basketball, those would be primo wins.
Absolutely.
This is football.
Not so much.
He's lost every other game.
Yeah. Well, you're speaking the truth, in my opinion, and you've got my back as far as that goes. Auburn alumni.
Yeah, man.
People ought to listen to you because you're not a guy who sits out there and shits on the team. You're usually pretty supportive. You want to see Auburn win. You're just frustrated by what you saw, and I mean you're just speaking the truth, man.
Well, and you know, again, the most troubling aspect for me is just the way that we got physically dominated by a team that we recruit light years more talented than that team, and they flat out took our lunch and made us like it. And for that to be the last game that Derek and Marlon walk off the field for, and Denson, I mean, you know, you hate it for that, but you want consistency, and consistently inconsistent is what's driving the fan base of the ball. And you know, hey, at least Bruce is here. We can wrap ourselves in the warm hug that is Auburn basketball to make us feel better.
Absolutely. So, I hope you call in for the basketball season too, Auburn alumni. I know you will.
Absolutely, man.
All right, brother. You behave yourself out there.
You do the same.
See you, man.
See you, bud.
I like it when he calls, man, because you don't have to worry about an agenda with him. He wants Auburn to win. He does. He really does. And he is not a guy he's not a never gusser. He's just rational, and he's calling it like he sees it down the middle. You guys have heard him all year. He's called in. When they've won, he's been really happy about it. And when they've lost, he gets really pissed off, particularly this game right here. Super chat coming in from Spread Attack U18, who has always had our back here on the show. Thank you very much for your support, bro. He says, thanks for all you do. Cannot wait for our basketball drains. Dude, me neither, because I've said this before. I don't know. We might have some new folks on here. I mean, I live for basketball. I grew up in a home with my parents. Let's see, my dad is a alumni of University of Louisville. My mom worked at University of Louisville. They met at University of Louisville. So I grew up in a home where we were always watching U of L basketball when we could. Those of you who are older like me know that we didn't always have cable and be able to see every game. So you just have to see Louisville when you could. But I'd be following them in the newspaper. We'd be talking about it and stuff. Always grew up so much more about basketball than I did football. So I'm really stoked to have a program at Auburn to cover that is so damn good. And, very appreciative of that. Spread Attack. So thank you for both the super chats. You probably didn't mean to do that second one. And we can talk about that. I can give you credit for another one later on in the year or something like that. But thank you very much for your support. And you're always here for us. And, you're always here supporting us on the show. And I thank you very much for that. And, again, we'll give you credit for 2 or 3 shows for that one. I know it's frustrating. Let's see what else we got. Stefan says, we're a basketball school anyway, LOL. That's about right. Nah, I mean, Bruce has done an awesome job. He's really good at what he does. And you know what the good news is? I think he's going to stay for a while. I think he's really happy with the way things work. And Alan, from day one, Alan has had his back in a way that the last athletic director didn't have. And when things are really rocky, I think Alan sat down, talked to Bruce, and was like, this guy is somebody I'm going to have his back. And he's done that. Bo is great asks, has Auburn replaced Kentucky as the blue blood basketball program of the SEC? Yeah, not quite yet. But I actually think that Auburn's better than Kentucky right now. I don't know if it's always going to be that way. I don't know if it's going to be that way in March. But I think Auburn's playing better basketball than UK right now. I think nobody in the league is playing better basketball than Auburn. I just think Auburn's got some weaknesses that some of the teams in this league are going to be able to exploit. I think they're going to find a way. Some of these teams have defensive players that can take out Samir, and when you do that, you got trouble. Let's take this call from the 404. Hey, welcome to the show, caller. How you doing?
Good. How you doing, JG?
Hey, now. Who I got on the horn?
Hey, you go.
Hey, hey, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Happy New Year.
Man, I haven't seen you since St. Louis, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen you personally. I called in earlier in the season when things were going a little better than they did today, but
I was just thinking about you.
That was a tough one to watch.
Hey, I wanted to change the track before I got going with you, though. I was thinking about you the other day because you and me and we hung out with Auburner. I think it was Auburner 10. Remember when we went to that brewery in St. Louis?
That's right.
And unfortunately, he passed away last summer, and I was just thinking about that. That guy was awesome. He was really, really cool.
Yeah, Rusty.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't want to. Yeah.
Yeah, I got him. Like I got him some tickets for that game. I forget who we played for homecoming that year, and my wife and I weren't going, and neither was her family. So I had like 7 tickets, and I gave them to him. And I tried to give them to him for free, and he insisted on paying for them.
Yeah.
He's like, no, my sister's paying for him, so like I got to give you something. So
yeah.
Just a stand-up dude.
I also thought of you again. That's twice now this week because we're planning our trip to Europe next summer, and my wife really wants to go to Germany, and I would love to go to a Bayern Munich game. And you have been, and I'm really jealous.
Dude. Do it.
That's not an easy ticket.
I can give you some tips on a sidebar for that.
Word. All right, so we'll talk about football. I'm sure you're frustrated with this loss today, but what pisses you off the most about it?
Oh, just we come out, and I know it's a bowl game, and different people had different motivations, but we didn't play well. Like I kind of think about the Florida game the other night where they played Virginia, and Virginia lost, right? But that was a hell of a football game.
Yeah,
like both teams, you could tell were they're throwing haymakers all game. We were just anemic today. Like there wasn't anything you could look back at and be like, yeah, we did that well, or, except for the kickoff return, we just looked lost for lack of a better term.
Yeah, Cardea made the point earlier that he thought the kickoff return might have actually messed Auburn up. That they got up 10 points or whatever, it was 10-3, and they had only run 3 offensive plays. Maybe it gave them kind of a false sense of confidence that ended up hurting them a lot. I don't know. It's kind of weird. They never did get any good.
Well, I think the turning point was when we gave that punt away. We make a pretty good stop, and we give up 45 yards in the air, and they just turned around and scored on the short field on the drop punt. I don't think we really ever recovered from that.
Yeah, that's true. That one played. I thought it kind of parlayed with the kickoff return because the kickoff return that gave myself maybe a false sense of hope. And then Tut gives up the punt. They score immediately, and all of a sudden you're like, damn, we're in neutral, and we can't even get moving now. It was tough.
Yeah, and for all the, I don't know, I've even been guilty of it. We all give Gus a hard time about running too much. Like, where was the attempt to establish any kind of running game? It seemed like we were just happy to throw 5- and 6-yard passing routes all night.
Yeah.
And that just wasn't enough, and, we tried to go deep, and it wasn't really there, and seemed like Bo was running for his life and kind of making bad decisions. He played a great game against Alabama, and it seemed like he kind of regressed to the early season form where he got under pressure and ate some bad sacks. He had the ball on 4th down and just kind of ran out of bounds. Not that you can't throw it up for a pick, but you got to make something happen there. Throw it away. You can't just eat the yards.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job escaping in the first half, but you're right. Second half, man, I didn't think he was real smart with his escapes, and I didn't think the pressure was that bad. I really didn't. I didn't think Minnesota was all over him. He just kind of freaked out a little bit.
He had some room to run, and he's great at buying himself some more time and kind of bouncing around the pocket. It just seemed like he panicked. Minnesota played a great game, but they're not the same type of talent as Georgia or Alabama or LSU, where they're coming with guys that can outrun them that are 300 pounds.
Yeah.
It was just a tough game to watch. You get excited. It's New Year's. You want to see Auburn go out with a win and send out, Marlin and Derek Brown out with a good last game. And, I thought those guys played a pretty solid game. It just seemed like Minnesota did a hell of a job.
Yeah.
Double teaming both of those guys and finding ways to still block the rest of our team.
Yeah, they did a good job. I mean, it was a good game plan from them, and they were a little better than I thought they were. So.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I thought they were a good team, but it's not SEC, but the Big Ten's been doing some pretty good work in the bowl games.
Got to give them credit.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but fortunately we got Miss State on Saturday. So.
No doubt. It's basketball season now, baby.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 2 months away from soccer season, so.
I'm looking forward to that too, man. All right, bro.
Yeah, we got to get you down to Atlanta for a game.
I would love to go this year. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna make a plan. I'm gonna go to an Atlanta United game, and I'm gonna meet you when I get there. All right.
All right, man. We'll get a tailgate set up. I'll get Andrew WL out there too. Some of the other guys. But thanks for taking my call, and tough one to take, but we'll look forward to basketball season, and I appreciate all the work you and the other guys do and keeping us informed and having a good time on the bunker. So,
appreciate you, AU Goat. You're doing a good job, bro. See ya.
Thanks. Bye.
AU Goat. Good dude, 100%. And his wife. I partied with both of them. Good people. I didn't have a chance to do it because I was taking AU Goat's call, but Tyler Fitch jumped in. Well, Tyler F. With the super chat says, appreciate you and Neil on G-Pits. Are the higher ups at Auburn just waiting until they can afford to fire Gus? From an Ole Miss guy, that's a great question. From an Auburn person, that would be a great question. I sometimes wonder the same thing myself. Yeah. I can't say for sure one way or another, but that is a very good observation and a great question, honestly. And thank you very much for supporting the show. You know, as someone I'm sure who watches the hand raise guys, I have been over there and super chatted them a few times as well because I want to support everything that Neil and Chance are doing over there at rebelgroves.com. And I try to stop by the site fairly often. My daughter's very interested in Ole Miss, and I've kind of kept an eye on Ole Miss. And Neil's a good friend of mine. He's been a good friend of mine for 20 years now. So love the folks over there at Rebel Groves. I just say it differently just to be a dick. But thank you very much for your support. And AU Goat for calling in. I know somebody's calling in from the 804, and I wasn't taking that call. I want to get up with BMAT if I can. Here comes a call from 205. I want to get up with BMAT if I can. I have concerns that Jeffrey Lee is out in the sticks right now. So let me see if BMAT is ready to go. BMAT and Nate, I know they're out there working hard. They have uploaded some videos to our YouTube channel. I know they've put Gus up there. There comes the 804 call again. I'm sorry I can't get to it at the moment, but I still love you. Let me see what they have posted to our YouTube channel real quick. Let's see. An interview with Noah Igbenogany, an interview with Bo Nix, and obviously Gus Malzahn's comments at the podium, which I have not been able to listen to, but a lot of you, judging from the views, have been watching. Let's see. BMAT says he is ready to go. So we're going to add Mr. BMAT on the show right now. He says, got to get at my dashboard here. There's actually a lot going on behind the scenes. I wish you guys could kind of see some of this stuff. Okay. Need to get on the Skype. For a 47-year-old man, I'm doing pretty good here. Oh, dadgummit. AU Goat, I'm sorry if I'm calling you back, bro. My bad. Oh, AU Goat, I'm sorry. Dadgummit.
Hello?
Hey, my bad for calling you back, bro. I didn't mean to do that.
That's all right, man.
Behave yourself. See you, bro. I totally called him back and didn't mean to. I'm sorry, man. It's totally my fault. Nah, I just did it again. Dadgummit. There we go. Sorry, guys. You guys are like, JG, man, how hard can this be? Yeah, I'm an old guy. Give me a break. That's terrible. I'm sorry, dude.
What is up?
Who I got on the horn right now?
This is B Matt here, just watching the sun come down at Raymond James Stadium.
Damn, are you about ready to leave?
Raymond James Stadium.
You about ready to leave though?
Yeah, I'm finishing up. I've got one story in, another story about to put in. So, yep.
Word. You guys have been working your butt off. I saw you got some videos up on the site and whatnot. Appreciate y'all hustling your ass off.
Of course.
So we're about an hour and a half into the show, and everybody's really pissed off, to be honest with you. Some raging and some not. Your thoughts on this loss?
Well, first of all, I just thought Auburn got outplayed flat out. I mean, I just thought Minnesota won the line of scrimmage on both sides, and that was really the difference in the game. I thought Auburn's,
plan on offense was really simple and, unsophisticated and didn't show a lot of it didn't seem like they put a lot of new stuff in, and it kind of showed. They couldn't run the ball. They didn't have time to set up and get any deep passes. I think Gus said they called like 6 deep passes, and as you saw, the only 2 passes they completed over 20 yards were when Bo Nix had to scramble, and one time he found Spencer Nye, of people, for like 24 yards, and then he found Sal on that sort of broken play for that touchdown. That was it. I mean, it was just a really simple. Most of the passes were just screen passes or short passes to horizontal passes. They just weren't finding ways to get the ball down the field. That's really disappointing. I think that's something that they've got to change going into next year. You've got to let Chad Morris take control of this offense and open it up a little bit more and get some receivers going down the field and catch the ball over the middle.
Yeah, did you see any evidence of anything that maybe Chad would have added to this offense or maybe helped with this offense?
No, I didn't. We talked to Bill afterwards, and he said that, Chad had seen some things and added some things in the practices leading up, but then he also said that he wasn't sure, if Chad had called anything or what had happened during the game or whatever. So I did not personally see anything. I'm not an expert on offensive schemes, but it just seemed like a really boring, mouths on offense that we've seen a lot of over the last 2 years. Yes, he's had some good games and beat up some average opponents, and they scored 48 against Alabama, which is great. But this reminded me of a lot of games I've seen the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, they got pushed around a lot, Matt. I'm just saying, and you saw it too. I'm surprised.
Yeah, and the other thing I saw, and I haven't really noticed this a lot this season, but I don't think Auburn's running backs did a really good job finding holes. I thought DJ Williams missed a couple of opportunities to bounce outside a little bit or bounce to a different lane there, and he couldn't do it. Dartavius is the same running back he's been. He can get in there and make some plays, but runs way too high. And Sean Shivers had that great run in the Iron Bowl, yes, but he's not a every down back or in this conference or at this level right now. He just he doesn't cut or he missed on that. I think it was the first play of the game early on that sweep play. He had a cutback that could have gone big, and he either didn't see it or was able to do it, and just, got a minimal game on that play. So I just saw I saw some opportunities in the running game. I didn't think it was all just the offensive line get beat. They did, of course. But I thought Auburn's running backs played really poorly today.
None of them had a big day statistically, obviously, but you want to say, the offensive line just didn't get it done, but sometimes it goes a little deeper than that.
Yeah, I do. And then on the other side of the ball, it was almost the exact opposite. They just got pushed around a little bit, and that's not something that we haven't seen all season as far as Auburn's run defense. No other team has been able to do this to them, and I don't think it was necessarily a physical thing. I think they just schemed them up really well and found different ways to block them or double team them in the right way. And their running back was really good at finding little creases and then busting out into the second level and getting big gains.
Hell, it was their backup running back. That was their backup guy.
Do what?
Ibrahim was their number 2 tailback.
Yeah, he did a great job, and of course, they had time to sit back there and pick Auburn apart too, and got a lot of big plays out of the passing game. What is it, Johnson, that big receiver who was the MVP of the game?
Yeah,
he was fantastic. He was wide open all over the place. And the quarterback was basically able to sit back there and make a lot of plays. Auburn didn't have a sack in the game. I'm not sure if they had a quarterback pressure or not. They may have 1 or 2, but it wasn't many, if at all. And I also thought defensively they did a poor job of sealing the edge. It seemed like every time T.D. Moultrie was in the game, they ran right at him, and he was not effective.
It's weird.
And that was the case a lot of the times, I think, for whoever was in there at block or at defensive end at times. They just really did a poor job of setting that edge.
How many players did they make available after the game? Were they pretty open?
There was probably 8 to 10-ish.
Okay.
They weren't there for very long. I had time to interview 3 people about 3 to 4 minutes apiece, and then that was the end of it. So everybody was brought out, but, you sort of had to pick who you're going to get. And, I got Bo and Markel and Noah, and that was pretty much it for me. And then Nathan got some different guys, and we shared the quotes, so we got, most everybody afterwards.
Yeah. Were they pretty down?
Somewhat, not despondent or anything. I would say they were, disappointed, but head to head was still up. I think, I don't think this is a case of Auburn not taking this team seriously or not necessarily, not playing as hard as they could have. I just think Minnesota just whipped them. I mean, Minnesota was a good team, and they just won the game flat out. I don't think this is necessarily all about Auburn. I think a lot of it was due to Minnesota. I thought they definitely outcoached Auburn. Definitely, absolutely, 100% outcoached them.
Listen, man, I agree. They were better than I thought they would be, and I thought their game plan was really solid. I mean, the things they were doing to mess with Auburn, I mean, they were consistent with it. They executed it.
Yep.
And, I mean, some of it is that Auburn maybe didn't adjust as well as they could have, but Minnesota just whooped them up front, period.
Yeah. I mean, that's a really good Auburn defense. You cannot say it's not a good defense. And they had over 400 yards and really had their way with them. I mean, 31 points, and they could have scored there again at the end, if they didn't just run out the clock. So, absolutely. That's to me, I know there's been teams that have put up maybe more numbers, but to me, that's the best offensive performance we've seen against Auburn this season. And that includes some really good offenses like LSU they went up against, which had over 500 yards, just 23 points.
I have to agree, man. I thought Minnesota did a good job. They did a really good job today. I'm surprised by how that whole thing undid. What do you think? Do you think there will be any lingering effect of this? I mean, they've recruited well. They have a chance to close pretty strongly. I mean, does it really affect Auburn very much, this loss?
Honestly, no, not in the big picture thing. I think it affects Auburn itself some. I think the Auburn fans now, they were coming off that high, the win over Alabama, so sort of had that momentum and everything, and now that's sort of lost, forgotten in a way. Maybe in a couple of weeks, people will, look back on the season and, see that Auburn's 4 losses were against teams, I think, that are combined 47-6 or something like that right now. I know I just came up, I was working on that stat as you called, but it's crazy, the schedule they've had. So I think people will still appreciate that. But it does take away a little bit, from what Auburn had built up with the Iron Bowl win, and, puts a little sour taste in your mouth going into the offseason.
How about I asked you about the players. How did Gus, what did he sound like at the post-game press conference?
Not as defensive as he usually is after a loss. So that was good, I thought, because I think he does a poor job representing himself and the team when he gets like that. But definitely disappointed, but always looking on the bright side more or less, and
no doubt,
feeling like the program is still in good shape. All the normal stuff. There was nothing that stood out to me special about his press conference. It was all just the normal stuff.
All right. So what are you and Nate doing? Are you guys going to come all the way back tonight, or what are you going to do?
Yes. As soon as I publish the second story, me and Jason are riding back tonight all the way to Auburn. Nate is going to spend the night and ride back with his buddies tomorrow.
Word. Okay. Well, please, you and Jason drive safely. 2 of my favorite people.
We will. We may drive a little faster than we usually do because we want to get home, but we will be safe.
All right, brother. I'll holler at you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Happy New Year to everybody out there, man.
Appreciate you, B-Matt. See you, man. It's B-Matt, our Ace Team reporter, and a man who is a doer of many things. He and Nate, again, they've been down there since the 26th, and it's hard, man. It's tough when you're away from your family that long, and B-Matt's a major family man. He and his wife Yvonne, he's got 1 daughter still at home, and it's tough, man. So appreciate all the work he's done. Nate, not quite in the same boat, but he's been away from his fiance for a while and his homies, so appreciate all the work they've done. While I had B-Matt on the horn, AU Taxman jumped in with a huge super chat. Thank you so much for that, AU Taxman. You're always here for us, bro. Says JG, thanks for all you do. Get yourself some EWBIB for one of the B-ball drain games, brain drains, this season. EWBIB. I love anything bottled in bond. We'll have to see if I can do that for you. But you are certainly going to help make that happen with that super chat, and I appreciate you, A-Taxman. You're always here, too. One of our most consistent chatters here on the show, and then obviously a great poster at auburnsports.com, so thank you very much. Let's see if I have missed anything good in the chat. I'm sure I have. I'm sorry about that, guys. Chris says PJ Fleck is a real coach. Absolutely agree. Had a great seriously, and B-Matt said this just a minute ago, had a great game plan for that game and executed well, very well coached. And, to me, it's not like I didn't go into this game thinking, Minnesota sucks. I mean, they won 10 games in that league, and they balled up. They crushed the little teams in that league, and they balled up against the good ones. Didn't necessarily win all of them, but they balled up. So, I mean, I'm not surprised at all. Let's see. Jay Lee checks in and says his phone died, but he'll be good in about 15. So we will keep that in mind and pick up Jay Lee when he has a chance to get his phone recharged. It happens sometimes. I know there's some other stuff that I missed here. JP Tiger says Minnesota will never have the talent found at Auburn. Enjoy your bowl win. I think we've got some Minnesota fans in the chat now infiltrating and talking about it, which they have the right to do. It was a big win. Let's see. Chris says stop finding excuses. Minnesota's a solid team. Absolutely agree completely. T. Hayes says give the Gophers credit. Absolutely, I agree 100%. See, John Carolina says you can blame Gus 100% for the personnel issues at offensive line and his offensive line coaching hire. That's all on him. I agree completely. We got a lot of good stuff coming through on the chat. Let's see what we got right here coming in on this call from the 770. Welcome to the show, caller. How you doing?
What's going on, Jay? How you doing, man?
Word. Who I got on the horn?
This is your boy Against the Spread.
Hey, what up, man?
Not a whole lot. Is there a football game today? Did I miss it?
Nah, we just getting ready for basketball, bro.
Good. I was calling to talk round ball with you, if that's all right.
Hell yeah, absolutely. What's up?
So we were kind of going back and forth a little bit this week in one of the threads talking about, our offensive identity, and that's been something that I've kind of been wondering about and kind of talking about a little bit.
Yeah.
You seem to think that we're going to like live and die by that 3 still. I just wanted to kind of pick your brain a little bit, go a little bit deeper on that. I mean, is that something you really think that this team can do and have postseason success with as they're currently built? Because I just personally, I don't see it unless Purifoy like really gets into a groove and keeps it up. But I don't know.
Well, they think that Purifoy. Obviously, we've seen Purifoy. We've seen Purifoy shoot the ball better, and he shot it better in the second half against Lipscomb. So I think they're thinking he's eventually going to get hooked in, and he's going to start doing the things that they want. They think he can be a 40% three-point shooter, and he's a real bitch to deal with as an opponent because he's a stretch four who can shoot 40% from three. So if he gets going, he's going to definitely give that a great advantage to the Auburn offense.
I thought it was hilarious. I don't know if you noticed this, but so he hit 2 threes in a row in the second half last week against Lipscomb, and then everybody who's played basketball knows if that happens, who gets the ball next time down the floor, right? Like that's heat check moment, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He was begging for it, screaming for it. He was wide open, and they just were not even looking at him. It was so funny. I don't know what was going on with that. Like I think the game before that, Javon had one of those moments, and it was like everybody just kind of got out of the way. They knew he was going to put one up.
Yeah.
But yeah, Danjo just I don't know what happened there. He didn't really get any more shots after that. It was kind of weird.
I know,
but I'm scratching my head as to how this team's going to have postseason success. Just because I think I know Javon's done a good job running the point. He's distributing the ball really well. But when we get like pressure on the ball, I mean, our offense just gets out of sync like in a hurry.
It does.
And I don't think Samir is the guy who can help bring the ball up the floor against pressure. In crunch time, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm a little nervous. I mean, I'm excited. The season's been super fun so far, and obviously, the expectations have been raised after last year. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about postseason this year. I just wanted to see what you thought.
Well, I agree. First of all, in the postseason, it's generally about guard play, and Auburn, I don't think, is great at guard play, so that's going to work against them in the postseason. I think they're going to have to accentuate transition. They've been pretty good in transition. They've been getting better in transition, so I think that's going to have to be a major weapon for them. And I also think they are better than just about everybody in the league at offensive rebounding and tip-ins because of Austin, because of Anthony, because of Isaac Okoro has been stepping up big time in that way. So they're just going to have to kind of garbage people out. Does that make sense? I mean, they can just dominate people that way. They can get 10 or 15 points a game off that. That makes a big difference.
Yeah. I mean, I just think like when you know how postseason ball is. It's like every possession matters so much. And I don't know if those points are still there. I mean, when people are like really putting 100% effort into every possession on defense, I don't know. I hope, but it makes me a little nervous. I don't know how I feel about it.
Well, I mean, this team, I don't think it's quite as good as the team last year, but I mean, they have a chance to be really good if Danjel can step up, if Isaac gets to be a really, really good player. And remember now, Chuba just kind of popped one day. It was like early in his sophomore year, all of a sudden he went from a pretty good player to a dominating player. And it's possible that Isaac can do that this year. I think he's definitely got that ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, he's obviously missing the 3-point shot a little bit.
Yeah.
If that comes part of his game, I mean, this team's going to be so dangerous. If you have to guard him all the way out there, because to me, that's what this team should be doing on offense when we get into sets, is more just trying to get some good penetration. I would like to see some more 4 high sets. It seems like we do more of that with Austin than we do with Macklemore, which is weird to me.
I know.
I guess maybe they know that Austin's not going to shoot it, and Macklemore might throw one up. But it seems weird. I'd just like to see more of that and get like attacking the rim. It seems to be where we excel. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Samir's he attacked the rim a lot against Lipscomb. Now I know it's Lipscomb, but I think he's going to do more of that. And he was really good at that when he was at VCU. I mean, he was a good rim attacker.
Yeah.
And I think he's kind of
you were on the IPO on Samir, man, when he got here. I remember you talking about that dude for a while.
Absolutely. I felt kind of weird because last year he wasn't that guy, but he's been doing that more this year, and I think a lot of him. I think he's gonna be a really good player for them down the stretch.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for taking my call. I figured you could use a little break from a lot of the football bitching. So
appreciate you
any day.
All right. See you, bro.
All right. Thanks, Jay.
Against the spread, little basketball chatter. Also, I want to give a super chat shout out to Jarrett. Didn't have a message with his super chat, but I appreciate you very much for being part of the show. And, being a super chatter makes you a total badass, in my opinion. I have a special guest here. I would like to say what up to the show. How you doing, bro? This is my man right here, Maverick the Pug. What are you doing, Mav? You want to say what's up to the people? It's right here. You want to say what's up? What do you think about this, huh? What do you think, bro? Maverick is he's an awesome dog, but he's a little hyper usually. He's a little kind of freaked out right now. Do you want to say what's up to the peoples? You want to say what's up? Are you the crazy pug? You want to say hello? You want to say something? He's a little petrified, isn't he? He got really fired up because BMAT called in and he wanted to say something to BMAT, but I think he just kind of got quiet. You doing all right? Okay. All right, we'll say goodbye to Maverick for now. Thanks, Junior Administrative Assistant. I was going to bring you up on the show earlier, Junior Administrative Assistant, because when you came into the game, or I was watching the game earlier, and you were like, dude, is Minnesota even any good? I was like, yeah, they're pretty good. Because you've never heard of Minnesota football. I mean, why would you? They've been shitty for 50 years or whatever. Anyway, I know people here are on pins and needles wondering if you've narrowed down your college choices yet. Nope, not yet. Whoa. You have? I don't know what you're mouthing to me. I have these headphones. What? No, I've been pretty open with people about Auburn's situation. Here we go. Hold on. That's my daughter, Maddie. And Maddie is currently considering different college choices. And you like Auburn, but you're probably not going to end up going to Auburn because they don't offer the same kind of scholarship money that other schools do. Is that fair? That's fair. Okay. So at this point, you're probably looking at Ole Miss, South Alabama, and Transylvania University. I know you guys are like, Transylvania University, are you shitting me? Is that even a school? It is. I went to school there. I have a degree from there. My wife, my administrative assistant, has a degree from there as well. So you can go and interview, which you're going to do in 9 days from now.
Yep, January 10th.
You're going to interview for a full ride scholarship there, and you're going to say, I am the daughter of 2 Transylvania University graduates, and I want to come here and kick ass.
Yep, precisely.
And then you want to go to UK medical school, and you want to become an emergency room physician.
Maybe.
Is that pretty much it?
Yeah.
Okay. Jeff Cheney, who I met the other day, he and his wife at the basketball game, says, hey, Maddie.
Hello, Jeff.
Solo Tiger says Ole Miss is a dump. Your thoughts?
It was one of the top 15 prettiest campuses in America.
Yeah, you can still be a dump and be pretty. I don't know. Bo is great, says make your dad write the check. Of course. Nah, it'd actually be the mom, but honestly. TD says Trancy. I don't know what that means. Ed Darby says get that money. Maddie's all about that money, believe me. She loves that money.
Getting beat by a community college.
The Canoe Man says can walk from Trancy to Rupp. That is absolutely true. That is a trip I made many times.
Doesn't it have a name?
What?
Isn't there a name for that walk?
It's called the Walk of Shame. No, that's what your mother walked from Clay Hall over to 4 before we got married. JP Tiger said it's like getting beat by a community college. Ouch, man. I mean, you like Auburn. It's just that they have an enrollment cap, and so when they do that, they don't like to give out a lot of scholarship money. Is that fair to say?
Very fair.
Yeah. Solo Tiger says calf deep in trash at the Grove after every game. I don't know if he's talking about the girls or he's talking about actual litter.
He's talking about litter.
Could be.
He's talking about litter.
Alpha Tiger says, on a scale of Billy Gardell to John Stamos, where would you each rank Lane Kiffin? There's a joke Maddie won't get. Canoeman says Oxford is charming. I agree. Mama Doodat says, if Jay Lee is in the sticks, will he whisper again? ASMR part 2. Hey, guys.
Stop.
No, that's what we did when Jay Lee called like a month ago. I was like, hey, Jay Lee, how you doing, bro? He's like, I'm all right, JG. Word.
Did you say South Alabama's commuter campus?
Low Roller says, South Alabama has a commuter campus, but some good majors. If Chip Chip is on the horn, I know you're going to have to get on there and say that's BS. I was really surprised by South Alabama, how nice it was.
It was a lot nicer.
It was a lot nicer than I thought it would be. Yeah, and they have a hospital. They have a South Alabama hospital.
2.
They have 2. And they also have that teaching hospital kind of.
The simulation lab.
Simulation lab. And
opening up next year, baby.
so for somebody who wants to be in emergency medicine, South Alabama makes a lot of sense, for sure. And I think they have Chi Omega there, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
We love some Chi Omegas.
And I applied for their early med school acceptance, but only 10 people get accepted.
So we don't know if you got it or you didn't get it.
We don't count on it.
I think I've asked you this before, but what did you think about your when you went to Mobile and saw Steel Panther?
It was not really my scene, but I appreciated the music being played.
Oh yes, like what's your favorite?
They had a good performance.
What's your favorite Steel Panther song?
Oh my god, you're just bad.
Is it? Which one is it?
You know.
Gangbang at the Old Folks'
No.
Home. Community Property.
Yeah.
Going in the back door.
I don't know that one.
Oh, okay. So Community Property.
Stay out of the tranny you Pike House, sweet girl.
Yeah, there's no Pike House. There's a Pike floor, and I would probably give you the same advice. Having been a Pike myself. Chip Chip is in the house. He says, a hospital, ha ha ha, like a war zone. Ouch. Must be a trauma facility. And then Chip Chip says the women and children's hospital is top notch. Our friend Reynolds Wolf is in the chat. You guys may know Reynolds from such places as the Weather Channel or the Weather Channel. He's one of America's foremost meteorologists and also a great entertainer and a fine fly fisherman. Something that I think Jay Lee would like to learn more about fly fishing from Reynolds Wolf, but Reynolds Wolf asks, are you surprised by the loss? I am, because going in, I thought Auburn would absolutely curb stomp these fools, but the longer this game went on, I started realizing that Minnesota's legit. The game plan was really good. They executed really well, and bottom line is they deserve that victory. I don't know what else to tell you. I didn't think Auburn adjusted very well. I didn't think Auburn played with a lot of spirit, and yeah. I mean, what do you want me to say? I think Minnesota kicked ass. That's my opinion on this. NFLPA 79 alum says there are no moral victories. I tend to agree. They're trying to say that, Auburn played hard and whatever. That doesn't really matter. I do want to mention that Cardea, who called in earlier, who was very funny, and he's getting over some different maladies, is the mysterious Jarrett who made the super chat earlier. So thank you very much, Cardea. I'm sorry I didn't give you credit right off. I should have. And I appreciate you. And also, you need to stay out of the Pike House.
Yeah.
If there was a Pike House.
I would not be there.
Wait, what?
I've already snooped on all the
Yeah, you're kind of weirding me out a little bit. My daughter was looking. You actually pay attention to the Instagram feeds of various schools, fraternities, and sororities. Is that fair?
Yes, that's right.
And so you've been keeping an eye on the Transy. Hold on, I gotta turn this up. You've been keeping an eye on the various Transy fraternities and sororities, right?
I have.
And you think that the one that I was associated with, the Pikes. What are your thoughts about them?
I mean, I don't know.
She doesn't know. She doesn't want to say.
Tell.
You can't tell.
Pictures.
That's bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on that right there. No, hey, Jarrett says, hey, thanks, man. No, thank you. Appreciate you being a great caller, being a hilarious poster, and also for super chatting. That's awesome. Appreciate you, bro. Chip says USA has a physiology professor that sounds like Dobby the elf from Harry Potter. Have you ever seen Harry Potter? Huh?
Does he work there?
No, I just think he's familiar with it. He's always been a Mobilian. He's a big fan of the Mobile scene in general.
What was the question?
Canoe Man. This is actually a very smart comment here. Low security in the rare book room at Transy could be ripe for a big payday. Just throwing that out there. That is the basis of a film called American Animals, where some dudes, this is not long after your dad left Transy, they actually infiltrated the Transy library and stole some original Charles Darwin documents. Yeah, and then sold them. And then went through one thing, led to another, and then it was realized that they had stolen them, and those guys got in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, you can't steal shit like that. Love the cats. Appreciate you again, bro. Another super chat. Maddie, what do you think about super chats?
I like those.
Of course she does.
I love them.
He says, because of Reynolds, we didn't have a white Christmas. There you go, Reynolds. Thanks, buddy.
Why does everybody poop on Auburn?
Well, everybody's pissed off because they lost the damn game.
Okay.
I mean, this is how it goes.
Okay.
I don't think they're not pooping on Auburn University proper. They're pooping on Gus. They think Gus is overpaid. They think he tends
All
to
of them are.
shit the bed in. I don't know about Saban getting overpaid. He gets to the playoff a lot. Same thing for Dabo. And whoever the Ohio State coach is. I don't even know his name. Chris says, JG, if you come to Mobile, you have to visit the Haberdasher. Awesome bourbon selection there. Ooh, I like the sound of Auburn bourbon's awesome bourbon selection. Low Roller says, Reynolds went to Mississippi State, one of the few schools with worse coaching than Auburn. Tend to agree, but I always think of Reynolds as being a Jacksonville State guy who likes Auburn and grew up liking Auburn, so I wouldn't hate too much. If you're going to go into meteorology, there's only so many places you can go, and Auburn is not one of them, so you can't hate too much. Ed Darby says, brain drain challenge, next caller in Gus post-game loss voice. I don't even know if we're going to take callers anymore. We had some folks call in, but I don't know. Madison, are you going out tonight?
Mm-mm.
What the hell? It's like 6 o'clock and you're not going out?
Mm-mm.
Why?
Because I want to eat shrimp here.
Oh, yeah, your mom's got some shrimp. We bought some shrimp and they were really good.
They're really good.
Yeah. It's too bad you can't drink because this Knob Creek single barrel reserve's pretty damn good. Brian Johnson says, go Gophers, Big Ten on top. They were certainly on top in this game, and I can't even hate on that. NFLPA 79 alum says Gatewood sitting out next year per NCAA rules. Obviously, we're talking about Gatewood somewhere up there. I missed it. David points out some interesting games next year. Kentucky at home against Joey Gatewood. That is an interesting game, although Joey won't play, I don't think. We get UGA early. Yes, that's an October game next year. First time in a long, long time. LSU, Bama back-to-back, although not both on the road. LSU at home, Bama at Alabama. How does 2020 feel right now? It feels like a more palatable schedule, in my opinion. But I just can't get a feel for that team yet. I don't know if Auburn's going to be good or not. A lot of questions about the defensive line. You know, is Tyrone Truesdell a real player? Can Daquan handle that position 50 snaps a game? Can Big Cat be something better than he is? Is Derek Hall going to continue to improve? Can they get anything out of T.D. Moultrie? Got a lot of questions about the defensive line that, yeah. A lot of questions about the defensive line. So, I don't know what to think about that. Let's see. Shane asks, has Bo regressed from high school in progressions, or is it more there's nothing to progress to in this offense? Oh, my goodness. No, I don't think Bo has regressed. I think Bo's gotten better. He made a few plays in this game that he would not have been able to make 2 months ago. That throw to Sal was a calm situation under pressure. I made the right read and got the ball out. Also, the throw to Spencer Nye was like his 18th read. Made a great job there. Did a great job there. So, Reynolds Wolf says, Maddie, go to school wherever it makes your heart happy. I don't even know where that is.
I don't know. All of them would.
All of them would.
considering a place where my heart
You wouldn't consider a place if it didn't make your heart happy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're also considering Troy. Wait, why are you looking at me like that? I mean, Troy's been very generous with their scholarship.
Very generous.
Yeah, good folks. Ed Darby says Schwartz will make that Olympic team done with football. Boom. How about that? Dan Webb apparently is drinking Bernheim original single barrel 7-year. I had Bernheim. It's been a minute. Been like 3 or 4 years ago. It didn't really strike me as particularly good, but I'm glad you're having a good run with it. South Alabama, good meteorology program. I don't even know if that's true. Madison really wants to be an ER doctor, so we're going to go with that. Pat Jefferson asks, apropos of nothing, do we have enough money to hire Saban? That's a lot. That would take a lot of money. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Go to a good drinking school. That seems like a great piece of advice from one of our sharpest and most shrewd posters and chatters. Spread Attack U18. Although you're not drinking age yet, Maddie, so I know that you wouldn't make bad decisions like that. But I mean, you're still a few years away from 21.
You have any young people on here?
Hell yeah, there's a bunch of young people on there. Young people, what up? Say what up to Maddie. I know some of these folks are probably my age, but I don't know if you consider me old.
What age bracket do you think most of your subscribers are in?
Most of my subscribers are in the 20 to 35 range.
You think you have a lot of 20-year-olds subscribing?
Like in the 20s, yeah. Absolutely. I do.
Who said Oxford is great for medicine?
Aaron says Oxford is great for medicine.
Debatable.
That is debatable. However, they have a medical school in Jackson. And therefore, you go from Oxford to Jackson. Although you got to be a resident of Mississippi to get that opportunity.
But also, it's one of the top 10 easiest medical schools to get into in America.
Is that good or bad?
I don't know.
TD says he's in his 30. Chris Byers says he's 77. So that's all over the map. Interesting crew there. Love the cat says sup. Also, you gave us another super chat earlier, and I thank you very much. That is actually Hornacious, who is probably the third best horn behind Hornomania and Hornswoggle, but he's still pretty cool. I don't know. The horns are good people. All three of them. Really, it's just two, but whatever. JP Tiger says, this is Minnesota's shining moment. They are probably selling score T-shirts at Academy. AU Taxman, not a fan of Jackson, Mississippi. David P. says Jacksonville State University is a great school. There you go, Reynolds. Somebody's backing you up there. Chris Arndt says, does the junior administrative assistant like the taste of bourbon? Why are you looking like that?
I don't know.
She doesn't know what bourbon tastes like. At all. We had someone call in earlier, Cardea, who said that he had been sick lately and he had been drinking White Claw. Do you know what White Claw is, Maddie?
Who said that?
Cardea. He's 41 years old.
Yeah, I know what it is.
I mean, have you ever had any? Are you sure?
Yeah, I promise.
Like, if I bet you $1 million and if you lied to me, you would have to pay me $1 million, would you say no?
I would say no.
I'm calling bullshit on that.
Oh, my God.
I'm calling bullshit on that.
I'm pressing show.
Yeah, go ahead. It says, this is Alpha Tiger again. Which game next season is Gus most likely to shit the bed and make us want him fired again? Well, I'll tell you what. Let's take a look. Let me get the Auburn schedule up here so you guys can see that. It's going to take me just a second on that. We got to get on the horn with Jeffrey Lee here in just a second. Let's see. 2020. Ay. That's a big one right there. Alpha Tiger wanted to know which game Auburn was most likely to shit the bed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this picture here. Ooh, I got to. Oh, sorry. Just give me a second, guys. I want to get a legitimate, real answer for Alpha Tiger on this because it's a good question.
What's the question?
Which game are they going to shit the bed about next year? Which of these games right here do you think they'll shit the bed? Stop.
badly or just?
Probably just leave everybody disappointed and upset. Let's call this Sked. Sorry, guys. It just takes me a second. I know this is scintillating video. And it's going to be really big on the screen. Sorry, guys. I'll size this down for you. All right, so there is the schedule for next year. Let's see which one of these games you think they're going to shit the bed, Maddie. Let's see. Alcorn State, nope.
I don't think so.
North Carolina is an interesting choice. North Carolina will probably be better, but I bet Auburn wins that game. At Ole Miss, no.
I'm going to say UGA.
Southern Miss, no. Kentucky.
They're at home. They'll be okay.
Oh, it is at Auburn, isn't it? I thought that game was in Lexington. Shoot. Yeah, they'll probably win that game. So it's at Georgia. But see, here's the thing, though. If they lose the game at Georgia, I don't think that's really shitting the bed because Georgia will be good, and people will say, oh, Gus will go over there and shit the bed again, and he kind of will. And I don't know if that's really shitting the bed, really, you know? A&M at home. I think Kellen Mond will still be at A&M, so
UMass Minutemen?
they're not gonna lose at Mississippi State. They're not gonna lose to Arkansas. UMass Minutemen.
See, I feel like Georgia is like a good choice because LSU and Alabama are the other ones that they probably would lose to. And
She says they would lose to Georgia and Alabama, so you can't really blame that. LSU is going to lose their quarterback, so I don't know if they're going to be any good.
they'll be good.
So my thought is Kentucky looks like a possibility and Texas A&M looks like a possibility. These other ones, I don't think so. I mean, because if they lose at Alabama, you don't really consider that shitting the bed unless they're up 31-10 and they lose. Probably not going to do that. So those are my choices, Kentucky or Texas A&M. And my daughter doesn't even know enough. You thought it was UMass.
I was like kidding.
Oh, she was just kidding. Sorry. So there's your answer. As best I can do it for you, Alpha Tiger. I say Kentucky or Texas A&M. Chris says, why does that look like a 1985 football schedule? Because I didn't have time to make the whole graphic myself, bro. I had to snatch it off the internets. Dr. Nuts says, now Minnesota are thinking they are the shit. Yeah, it does seem to be that way. But hey, you got to let them gloat a little bit. I mean, it's not every day that Minnesota gets to beat an SEC team, a decent SEC team as well. Stu Pup says Lane Kiffin going to beat us. I doubt it, but I mean it could happen, I guess.
Maybe they'll be good.
I think Ole Miss is going to be moving forward. I do, but I don't think it's going to happen right away. TD says, didn't UK beat us in Jordan Hare last time? Hell yeah, they did. 2009, it was a cold night. It might have been 2011. I'm sorry. I don't know. I know it was a cold night. My friend Jason Morgan was here, and yeah, he had a good time. Although he was bummed out about the traffic. I was like, dude, welcome to Auburn. You know Jason Morgan, right?
I do.
And his daughter, Madison, and Cameron, with a Y.
Yeah.
And his great wife, Emily, who played field hockey with your mother. She was a striker, and your mother was a center back. So they played different positions on the field, so to speak. Huh?
I said thanks, Tater.
Yeah, Alpha Tiger says thanks, Tater. People call you Tater?
Tater tot.
Tater tot? Yeah, I got that a lot, too, when I was younger. All right, well. Alpha Tiger says, what is Layla Kiffin up to these days? I don't know. I'd like to know. She's pretty hot. Ex-wife.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he ended up, they got divorced, and then I think he was hooking up with some other chicks, which he's welcome to do once they get divorced, right?
He's not fine enough to be acting like that.
He is pretty fine, though. I mean, I'm not saying for me, but I'm saying in general. I think the ladies probably think he's pretty fine, yeah.
Do you think Joe Burrow is attractive?
No.
Are you serious?
I know. My daughter thinks that Joe Burrow is, like, super hot, right? Is that fair?
He is, yes.
And he's not. I mean, he's just a goofy-looking dude.
Who's like the backup quarterback for Clemson?
I don't have any idea.
It's like I saw it earlier.
She's asking about the backup quarterback at Clemson. I have no idea who that is, and I don't even care.
How do you not know that?
You think that the starting quarterback at Clemson's ugly?
That's true.
Ben Wolk is rolling over in his grave right now because Ben Wolk has long hair just like Trevor Lawrence, and now he thinks that. Anyway.
Trevor Lawrence is just like facially just like not it.
Ed Darby says, will Malzahn play any freshman on offense last year? I guarantee you next year he will play Tank Bigsby. I don't know what role he'll play, and I don't know if he'll give the kid a fair shot, but he's going to play Tank Bigsby next year.
What is that dude's name?
Low Roller says UNC has a better quarterback and we lose our O and D lines. Hill O-line no good anyway. Hell, our O-line no good anyway. I can't. O-line's okay. I think Auburn's O-line is okay. Not great, not awful, just average. Dr. Nuts says, everybody knows Auburn's win over Alabama was an accident. Alabama caught the injury bug badly and would have beaten Auburn if not for the 2 interceptions. I mean, if Alabama has Tua, probably win that game. Chris says, who is the backup quarterback at Clemson? I honestly don't know that person's name. Is it him?
I don't think.
No, he's not number 84.
Who is this? Do you know who this is?
I don't cover Clemson.
How do you not know this about college football?
I don't give a shit about Clemson. I don't watch their games. I don't follow their recruiting. I don't give a damn about Dabo Swinney because he's a Bammer, and I don't care. I just don't give a shit. No shit's given at all about Clemson.
No, Joe Burrow does kind of look like Macaulay Culkin. I'll tell you that.
Somebody asked if Maddie likes Macaulay Culkin, if she likes Joe Burrow, and you noted that they do look very similar.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the eyes. They're like really.
Dr. Nutt says Trevor Lawrence is, in fact, an ugly dude.
Well, whoever this is, Davis Allen, I think this is the one I was talking about.
Davis Allen?
He's not a quarterback. I don't know what he is. But there you go.
I just can't judge. I mean, they all look like
think he's cute.
They all look like little babies to me. I don't care.
They think he's cute.
They don't care.
Hey, Dad, who's the backup quarterback at Auburn?
The backup quarterback at Auburn is like my age. His name's Cord Sandberg.
Oh, I don't care.
Hey, Auburn I care about. I don't care about Clemson. They're not even in the league. I don't give a damn. You guys would be amazed how little I care about stuff that's not Auburn. Like, it's basically Auburn and not Auburn. Like, oh, is that not Auburn? Okay, I don't give a shit. Like, I never watch a football game if it's not Auburn. I just don't care.
That's not true.
Oh, NFL, I watch a little bit of that. That's true. I watch a NFL game on Sunday night or Monday night. But, like, if it's A&M against Arkansas or something, I don't watch that. I don't care.
You're telling me we didn't watch the Clemson game the other day?
It's a playoff. Oh boy. Look who we got here.
Who is that?
What do you mean, who is that?
Doc Dumpster?
She wants to know who Doc Dumpster is.
Who is that?
Doc Dumpster is a Hall of Famer. All right, let's see. We need to get Jay Lee on the horn, so let's get him on the horn right now. I want to talk to Jay Lee.
I've not seen him in so long.
God dang it, I did it again. I keep doing that.
He's right there.
Where?
Back.
He's right there. All right, let's see if we can get Jay Lee on the horn. I'm not going to need you for this, Maddie. Jay Lee's going to use bad words and say bad things. All right, word.
Hello?
Yeah, who I got here?
Hey, man.
What's going on, buddy? What have you been up to?
Man, I've been lost in the woods, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good time for that, honestly.
No, not really lost, but the flashlight went out. My phone was dead. Couldn't find my way out.
Did you have a chance to see much of the game today?
I did.
What did you rank?
Yes, I did.
I know that defense probably didn't impress you that much.
Oh, they haven't all year.
What do you think? You think the offense should be held responsible for that, or is it all a defense thing?
Oh, not all defense, but certainly when you can't stop the run, you know, from a Minnesota team, what's that? Pac-10 runner-up, Pac-12 runner-up. What is it?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, you know, here's my thing, JG. And correct me if I'm wrong. And I really didn't watch closely, but anytime a team rushes for 220 against that front four, do you think Derek Brown was a liability today? Do you think Marlon Davidson was a liability today? Do you think they were playing tentative?
I don't know the answer to that. It's possible. Certainly possible.
Because mid-year, that doesn't happen. You know, 4 weeks ago, that doesn't happen. I don't know what Derek Brown's stat lines were, but I can't imagine they were very eye-opening.
No. He definitely didn't have one of his great games. No.
I can't imagine people watch that game and go, "Oh man, Chase Young shouldn't have won the Outland."
No, that definitely didn't happen.
Derek Brown got jogged, man. Yeah, it was. I was talking to my dad about this on the way back. I don't know. I don't know if they were playing not to get hurt. They were playing just to say that they played. But if that's the case, from here on, if you're a first round guy, do everybody a favor and just sit out. And again, I'm making this on the notion or the on the assumption that they didn't really give it their all. And if they did, I apologize and absolutely, applaud them for playing. But I just don't think Marlon Davidson and Derek Brown playing 100% allow 220 yards rushing to Minnesota.
They didn't look like themselves. I will agree with that. Now, whether that's because Minnesota played a great game and we all underestimated them, that's possible.
Absolutely.
Or was it because their head wasn't in it? I don't know.
But you've got the offense. I certainly went back to the offense that we've come to know under Gus Malzahn. So unpredictable. Is it going to be this? It was more of the same, really, what we saw sans the Alabama game. Predictable play calling, not much execution, missing passes, missing plays, missing open wide receivers, mistakes, fumbling, Christian Tutt there. There's just, it was ugly. You could tell after the first half, Auburn at its best should be up 14 to 21 points, and they weren't. And you could tell, I never got the feeling Auburn was ever in control of this game, even though I expected them to be. And as bad as you hear it, as much as you hear it said in the bowl season, Minnesota wanted it more than Auburn, just judging off of what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't impressed with the play calls. It was he went back to his 5-play book and dialed them up one after the other.
And then defensively, you got to wonder just how much their heart was in it. Honestly, I mean, I don't want to. I'm not saying anybody quit or anything like that, but the fire and the passion that we've seen from that defense for the last 12 games, we didn't see it today. Period.
No, absolutely, and I think that's what I'm basing my assumption off of, that maybe they didn't give it their all. It was a good. I thought it was a good start to the game. Denson comes up with a pick. Auburn, of course, 3 and then kicked a field goal. Noah runs back the kickoff after Minnesota ties it up, and you think, and I'm thinking at least, okay, here we go. This is kind of more what I expected. Auburn to kind of lead 14 points throughout the game, and then a late touchdown by one of the other teams is the reason that Auburn either does or does not cover the 7-point spread. And it just Auburn can never pull away, can never get things going on offense. What was the when I saw it was like 53 plays, 56 plays total offense.
For Auburn, it was in the 50s to 75 for Minnesota.
Right, and like you said when you first called, is it the offense? When you can't pick up first downs, you're obviously eating into your defense by sticking them back on the field. But to an extent, the defense has got to come up with stops, and Auburn just couldn't. And the thing that surprised me the most was Minnesota's success running the football. I just never would have thought Minnesota would be able to run the football against Auburn's front seven the way that they did. At will, the tackling was also very poor. Another thing that the tackling, whether it be, all 11. It wasn't just the front seven. It wasn't the back four. It was everybody. I thought the tackling was shitty.
So the final tally is 15 minutes time of possession in Minnesota's favor, and then they ran 22 more plays than Auburn. It was 75 to 53 on plays. So huge advantage there.
A whole quarter more.
Yeah, I mean that really is what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
And Auburn ends up actually passing more than they rushed.
Couldn't get it going. Couldn't sustain drives.
You think this is a bad omen for Chad Morris? Meaning, do you think he can help this?
Oh, absolutely. He can't hurt it. I think it's an instant. Absolutely. Now, in the debate, we'll continue to see the question or see the stories. We'll hear the questions to Gus of, how much control. Turn the damn thing over to Chad Morris. Let him run his offense. If you don't like it at the end of the year, fire him. But don't handcuff him. Don't micromanage it. Either let him turn it over to him or hold yourself accountable.
That's a very rational way to look at it, Jay Lee, but I don't know if that's what'll happen.
You're right. I don't think we have seen any kind of consistency from the offense since, in the last 4 to 5 years since Rhett. Since Rhett was let go, you don't know who's controlling the offense, who's calling the plays, who should be held accountable. I mean, ultimately, Gus is. But when it comes to offensive play calling, game planning, scheming, it needs to be black and white. There's so much gray and even before Rhett, we all knew what was going on then. But, then it was like he was going to change. Well, no, I'm changing back. I'm going to call the play.
Yeah.
Listen, somebody needs to be held accountable for it. And if Gus isn't going to turn it over to Chad Morris, who, in my opinion, has earned the right to take the reins, then he needs to hold himself accountable. Somebody needs to go at the end of the next year if it doesn't improve.
Yeah, that's fair. I think Chad has some good ideas that would help them.
I would love to see it. Really would.
Where do you think Broderick Jones is going to sign?
I like Auburn right now. I really do. Just in the last couple of days, getting getting into the swing of things, talking to Chad Simmons, who's talked to Broderick more than anybody, who knows him as well as anybody. And Broderick's not going to do interviews unless you catch him, after a visit or something. But Chad, I'm going with Chad, who thinks, if tomorrow's signing day, Broderick Jones signs with Auburn.
That'd be huge.
It would be monumental. Really would. I think that would be. I think I tweeted that's easily Auburn's top target for February, no doubt about it. You get him, and everybody else is bonus.
Gravy, as we say in the South.
Gravy.
Jay Lee,
sausage gravy.
You're doing a hell of a job, brother.
Well, I'm about to be.
We have to step it up here in January, but it's been good to let you have some time in the woods.
I've enjoyed it, man. I'm out today and I'm back at it, so we'll get back going. January, here we come. Dead period ends, I think, middle of the month, but we won't be waiting that long. Got some All-Star games, some commitments coming up. We'll keep an eye on that. Nothing for Auburn fans really to focus on, but it'll get turned back up here a few days.
Word. You behave yourself out there, brother.
Sure will, brother.
See ya. Jeffrey Lee, ladies and gentlemen, our recruiting czar and a guy who's been doing this a long, long time. There's no doubt. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. I need to take a very, very short break. I'll be back in like a minute, and I'm gonna try to get. I was actually texting with Doc Dumpsta earlier, and I'm gonna make sure he's good, and we want to try to get him on the horn and see what he has to say about the game. So I'll check back with you guys here, like seriously, like 1 minute, maybe 90 seconds, and we'll do it like that. All right. See you in a second. right. Back in the saddle, so to speak. Let's see. All right, we got Doc Dumpster confirmed. Definitely want to get him handled. Let's see who was what y'all been saying. Let's see. Low Roller says Chad Morris used to be good 10 years ago. Ay. Yeah, more like 5, but yeah. Ed Darby says Gus Malzahn has not evolved to 2020. Not a crazy idea. Let's see what else we got here. Chris Breyer says, I can't believe Gus never got off the bus. Hey, now. Love the cats. Jay has the bladder the size of a pea. Chris Stiff says, thank God for Bruce Pearl. At least we know there's good coaching there. Oh, boy. He is a good coach, though. And he's a really good recruiter, and he's a good motivator of men. All right, we're going to add, let's pick up my main man, Doc Dumpster here. Let's see if I got enough. I missed S-Town earlier. You guys know, you heard me kind of hollering at, I thought that I had gotten him, but I missed him. So, S-Town, I'm sorry, bro. Not good enough by me. Hey. Here we go. That's the secret number. Shum. AU Taxman says, don't let Doc get away with dropping any more 4-syllable words on you this time, Jay. We will cut his ass off if he says bad words. I've been keeping a list of people who get really upset when we use bad words on the show. Okay? And I haven't used very many tonight. I think I said a couple bad words, but whatever. Just in Time and Tubbs is my coach. They have a really hard time with cuss words, guys. They have complained on the bunker about salty language. So please, guys, in the chat, respect them. Don't use bad words, and I won't either. Here we go. Let's see if we can get Doc Dumpster on the horn.
Hello?
Who the hell I got here?
Oh, God dang, butter beans and dadgum blue jeans, dog. What's going on?
What's up, Doc? How you been, bro?
Well, I tell you what, Doc, give Doc a break tonight. Doc's been laid up for a couple of days.
Damn.
You mentioned something about your daughter going to med school. Is she around the phone anywhere?
Hell no, not right now.
Okay, I've been injecting some trimethoprim in some Reese's cups, trying to get better, and I hopefully I'm getting better, but I don't know.
I sure as hell hope you're getting better. I would certainly suggest you drink some Early Times or Kentucky Tavern. I think that would help.
Oh no, hey, listen, it's easy teasy city tonight, baby. Hey, after watching the bowl games today, it's easy teasy city. JGT, how we doing tonight?
Folks are upset, but they're not ready to just absolutely kill anybody. I think they're just disappointed and sad about it.
You know what today was, Coach? It was a winnable, losable. Okay, I say it all the time. Okay, you going into this game, supposedly there's 2 top 25 teams playing. Hey, it's winnable, losable. You can win or lose. We lost. I mean, it happens. The better team. If you ask somebody from California to take the emblems off the jersey, the logos, and who's playing who, we got outplayed. Minnesota beat us in every facet of the game, and I hate that, but it is what it is.
I agree with you, man. They played better. They had a good game plan. They executed it well, and honestly, the team's better than I thought it was.
Yeah, I will say I don't know a lot about Minnesota. You obviously hear a lot about their coach. I don't think that conference is very good, but I may be wrong. I will say this. I think when I look, like I've been all season long, JGT, saying our offense completely sucks. I've said that since day one. I can't stand our offense.
You have, absolutely.
But it may be that the SEC offenses were just not good this year. Take away Baton Rouge and Tuscaloosa, okay? Those 2 teams can score, okay? I don't know that Gainesville doesn't score. Athens doesn't score. Knoxville doesn't score. Auburn certainly doesn't score. Mississippi State doesn't score. There's just not a lot of offense in the SEC. And I think that showed in some of the, especially in our game. But it's just, we just got to get better offensively, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that Chad Morris is going to be the guy that can kind of be the catalyst for some offensive improvements. But, I mean, we didn't see much of that today, did we?
Well, I'm going to Dog's going to give you a different take on the Chad Morris thing.
Yeah.
Dog thinks Chad Morris and Gus will be a complete dumpster fire. Okay? The reason I say that is I think Chad Morris knows offense. Okay? But him and Gus are both alphas in terms of what they think is offense. Okay?
All right.
I'm sure after this game, he probably went home and did not like the fact that, we didn't see one of his plays, I don't think. And he's going to say, hey, we just got beat by freaking Minnesota. And we had 230 yards of offense against them. It'll be interesting to see if those two can be cohesive because Gus, the problem with Gus, and I'm not saying fire Gus like a lot of people are because let's be honest, we played 12 games against the toughest schedule in the world, and Gus's teams won 9 of them, okay? Let's give him his due, okay? But I'm just saying his offense is not very good, and I don't know that he's going to listen to Chad.
Yeah, that's the thing. And they have similar ideas, too.
Yes. So, it is what it is, but I hated to see our defense get worked over so bad. It's just but again, our defense – everybody brings up, oh gosh, we held LSU to 23. Well, LSU had about 2,000 yards that game. They just couldn't get a play in the red zone.
Yeah.
Which is a credit to us. I mean, it was a great job by our defense. Don't get me wrong. That's the game we should have won. I don't think we should have beat Florida. I think Florida was better than us. I think Georgia was better than us. If LSU scores 23 points against you, you need to win that game. Yeah. That's I've watched that film 8,000 times, and that's the game that we could have got to 10 wins on.
Yeah.
Ironically, they're playing the national championship, but that's the game we could have won because they didn't score against us.
I know, man. 21-0 the third quarter, though. God dang, man.
21-0 what?
In the Georgia game. That's the one that gets me.
Well, but what I'm saying is, J.G. Tate, you've been doing this forever. We never beat Georgia. Okay, we're gonna get beat by Georgia next year. I know this will shock the bunker, but we're gonna play them next year, and they'll beat us again. We beat them 40-7 a couple years ago when Carry-On was here, but I don't know that we beat them at their place since Charlie Sheen was a virgin. Does that sound about right?
It's been a while. Hell, I don't even remember last time, Doc. Shit, I really don't remember.
Yeah, so I'm just saying they'll beat us next year because Gus. I've said this on the bunker a bunch. He's going to run his 6 plays that Kirby knows, and and we won't win. But I wish offensively, and this game may do this. It may get somebody who's higher up at Auburn and big up at Auburn and say, Gus, man, we don't want to see you fired. You're a nice guy, but your offense is terrible. I mean, I've got a buddy that works at Tuscaloosa, and he keeps bringing up, well, Tuscaloosa had 550 yards against us to our 350 or whatever it was. And I just tried to thinking, they should have won that game. And I said, dude, that's what we do every game. I mean, we can go play Montgomery Christian Lutheran Academy right now, and we'll get 343 yards of offense. That's just what we do.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm talking too much. But go ahead, go. What you got, JG?
Well, I mean, Auburn hasn't won in Athens since 2005, and that was the game when Brandon Cox made the play late.
Yes. Right.
And so 0 for 6 since then, and really not many of those have been close. 45-20, 31-24 in 09 was relatively close, but 45-7, 43, 38-0. Oh, God bless. 34-7. The 13-7 game
like
where
I said, hey, JGT, it ain't pretty. And I've heard all these people in the bunker. We got an easy schedule next year. Okay, let me tell you something. Let's be very blunt here. Okay, we've got a less than 4% chance to win at Tuscaloosa and at Athens next year. Okay,
yeah.
That's 2 of our games. We got 10 more games other than that. So our schedule's not that easy, especially with this offense. Okay, Kentucky comes to town. Stoops is going to know every play we run if Gus continues to do what he does, which I expect he will. It's just our offense. It's so bad, and it's tough to watch. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's very predictable. It is. I mean, I'm just being real about it. Doc's got a point, and you've been saying this for a while that the offense is going to be the limiting factor.
I'm not blaming Bo Nix. I don't think Bo Nix is as good. Like Gus is. We're going to win a championship with Bo. Let me tell you something. You're not going to win any championship with the 7 playbook play you got. Bo, he's got a chance to get better. He's a part of the problem, but he's not the problem.
Right.
But I'm just, some people in the bunker said I hate Bo. I don't hate Bo at all. Bo's made some good plays. But our offense is just so predictable. Like we ran for 57 yards tonight. Well, it's easy to run. It's easy for a defense to key on us because we can't throw the ball because our passing plays everybody knows.
Seems that way.
But anyway, it is what it is.
I keep thinking Chad's going to help the passing game. Basketball-wise, Doc, undefeated, going to Mississippi State on Saturday. I know you're pretty fired up for that game. What are you seeing there?
I'm fired up, but you know what, JG State? I'm going against the grain. I've got Starkville winning that basketball game. I have got Starkville beating Auburn. I love our basketball team. Love it to death. But we haven't played a lot of good competition. We're going away from home. We've got some good bounces off the rim to us in close games. I think this one goes to Starkville. What do you think?
No, I think you're off your ass, Doc Dumpster. Auburn's going to win that game by 20.
Really? Okay, so now why do you think we beat them by 20?
Because Bruce Pearl.
Nobody loves Bruce more than Doc. I love him to death. But I'm just saying, Starkville, I've watched a bunch of SEC teams. They've all got a ton of athletes like we've got. But who's got the best basketball player?
Nah, you're right.
And who is our basketball player go-to on our team right now? Who would you say is?
Well, the answer is Samir, but I think they need more than Samir. And I was kind of kidding.
I would disagree with you. I don't think it's Samir.
Who's the go-to player?
But go ahead.
Who's the go-to player then?
Well, I would say right now it's McCormick. I know you question McCormick, and I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying I don't think we have that go-to guy yet. Now, I will tell you this, and I've been on the bunker about this all daggone day long, okay? If Flanagan and Eric Cambridge get going, you can't keep them out of the lineup. And I think Bruce knows that. I think Bruce is waiting for Flanagan to have like a 6-for-8 game. Flanagan just has missed some shots. But Flanagan is like Chris Denson getting to the basket. He gets to the basket.
He does, yeah.
And Cambridge is just, how do you keep that sumbitch out of the freaking lineup? I mean, I don't care. There's just nobody like him. I know everybody likes Purifoy. Purifoy is a shooter, okay? If he's hot and nobody guards him, throw it to him, okay? When he dribbles, oh, my God. Oh, my God. But anyway, yeah, I love Bruce. I love our basketball team. I just think we're going to a feisty crowd at Starkville. It's going to be tough.
And they have a post player. They have a couple post guys that I think could give Austin some trouble. So I was kind of kidding about the 20 points, but I do think Auburn's going to win that game. No shit.
Well, listen, let me tell you something. Speaking of Wiley, I like what we've seen from Wiley.
Yeah.
Wiley's had a good Wiley helps us a bunch. It'll be interesting to see if Bruce continues the 20-minute thing with McLemore and Wiley. Because if Wiley's not in foul trouble, do you wonder, does he play him 25 minutes? I just don't know.
Yeah, and Wiley's done an awesome job of being able to stay on the court. I mean, last year was like a foul a minute,
it's
right?
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you just said is so big because 3 years ago he couldn't do that. He'd have 3 fouls in 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's not joking.
He's been a great teammate this year.
Yeah, he's been a good player too.
Yeah, and a very good player. Let's put it this way. Wouldn't you agree, J.G. Tate, if Wiley averages 10 and 10, okay, we're probably a top 15-10 team. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, I mean, he is averaging almost 10 and 10 right now. So
no, that's what I'm saying.
And
if
they are
he
top.
continues that in SEC play.
Yeah, no doubt.
If he gets 10 and 10, that's massive for our basketball team.
Yeah, he's a damn good player. He's playing at a really high level. It's just you can't really run shit for him because they can't get the ball to him. They can't. I mean, they get it deflected all the time.
I mean, it's not our strength, but But like I said, this team, you remember last year at this point, now I do worry about this. Are we peaked too soon? We're undefeated at 10. Last year we didn't know who we were at this point. We went on this crazy run. We were one of maybe the best team in the country. But it will be interesting to see our identity and what Bruce does with the lineup, how we do things. I just think Cambridge and Flanny are so talented. They are better than everybody else on the floor to me when they play.
They're good players.
We'll see what happens as SEC play goes on.
I just think Flanny's not hitting his threes right now, and he's not hitting his free throws. So
He's not. Flanny's not hitting anything.
That holds him back.
I'm just wondering. Let's just say they go to LSU. You play in a very athletic LSU team. That may be a game where Flanagan he may have 24 points in a game. You just don't know. It just be interesting. Bruce is so good at what he does. Last year, what he did with the roster was amazing. He's going to do the same thing this year. It'll just be interesting.
Yeah. Doc, you're a Hall of Famer in my book, brother.
Well, let me tell you something, JGT. I appreciate you a ton, buddy. And listen, I think it was Mo Dammit, or what's our buddy up in Chicago that called?
Mamadou.
Love that guy. Okay. I think it was him that said, listen, Bunker, don't get too crazy over a loss in a bowl game. Okay. Yeah. We had everybody, we had a good season. We just, if we can get better offensively, we'll compete next year. If we can't, we won't. And that's just the bottom line. That's Doc's opinion.
That's an opinion that I care about, Doc. Appreciate you being on the show,
Hey,
brother.
Have a good one, dog, and have a great week.
Be good out there.
Yeah, brother.
See you, bro. Doc Dumpster, a Hall of Fame poster, in my opinion. I know somebody on here said he would sound like Elmer Fudd. I don't think he sounds like Elmer Fudd at all. There was some chat on here about Joey Gatewood having more upside than Bo. They said G has better upside than Bro, and then Janster says JGT is a badass. Thank you. We're going to take S-Town because I missed him earlier and I want to get him now. S-Town, what up, bro?
Hey, Coach.
How you doing, bro? I'm sorry I misidentified you earlier.
Just wanted to say War Eagle.
That's all you had to say?
No, I'm I think the guys they tried their best today, Just couldn't get it done. The superior opponent,
I know the Gophers, they're good, aren't they?
Yeah, it was especially heartwarming to find out or be reminded that our two-star safety spurned them for us.
That's nice.
Late in the game, but I've always been a big Daniel Thomas fan. But
it's hard to say no to Minnesota, when you're from Montgomery, Alabama, and you can play in Minnesota and play in the snow like half the time. Yeah.
Hey man, I'm from Montgomery,
Me too.
So I know what it's like.
I feel like I am now.
But
anyway.
no, it was Malzahn, it's execution. It's definitely not his fault. It's all execution. Guys just didn't execute today. He had the game plan. Definitely had the adjustments ready. Just guys just didn't execute.
It's too bad that he's such a great coach and he gets foiled by these players that just won't do what he says.
I know, just a bunch of spoiled brats.
Seems that way.
I just can't believe it that they go out there and he's got the game plan set for them. They're all lined up, ready to go, and just can't get it done.
Are you going to be optimistic going into next year, S-Town?
Not any more than I was this year. Our quarterback for 3 years straight. It doesn't matter who it is, just goes straight back randomly. I don't understand that. I don't understand the Malzahn quarterback that just runs straight back or to the side. There's no pressure even there. Just goes straight back to the side. Doesn't make any sense. But so I expect more of that next year. But while being told that we're going to get a Heisman winner out of him, we're going to get a national championship, as he goes straight back or straight to the side to throw it out of bounds or get sacked. So
you seem a little forlorn, S-Town. I'm not going to lie about it.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed. I've never been a big bowl fan. I've never been a big believer that the bowl tells you what your team is. But today it just looked like the same old. Looked like a lot of those games this year when we were close and couldn't finish in the end. And everybody, I think what people forget is just how demoralizing it is after those games because then you get the Alabama game, and everybody's all on a high again. You just forget about the Georgia game 2 weeks before. So I've had the flu, so I'm a little under the weather.
Damn. I hope the bunker didn't give it to you.
Say again.
I hope the bunker didn't give it to you.
I blame who was the guy that was talking about it?
Cardea.
I can't remember who it was, and yeah, probably him. He gave it to me.
Yeah, I think he coughed on the bunker.
I blame Harvey Specter for everything. It's all his fault.
Yeah, he's a real bastard, honestly. I don't know why he has to do this.
He gets all up and everything before he gets boogs by 50, things like that, and we come out flat. I blame him and Charlie 5.
Oh, he's an easy guy to blame. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're the worst.
Anyway,
thank you, Jay,
hey,
for letting me call in.
Hey, please call in on the basketball shows too, okay? Because they're going to be a little
I
more.
will too.
All right, bro. See ya.
Appreciate it. See ya. Bye.
Glad we got S-Town on the horn. He's called a few times, and I almost got him earlier, and then I missed him. So it happens. Let's see if I missed anything on. AU Taxman says S-Town needs a spicy chicken sandwich. He needs something to perk him up, huh? NFLPA 79 alum says our guys, quote, play their guts out. He was kidding, but yeah, it was pretty funny to hear him telling the story. It's good stuff, man. I feel like we've kind of done what we got to do here. We've gone 2 hours and 45 minutes on the show. We've had a whole bevy of fantastic callers, some better than others. Ruxpin, Mama Doodat, the Runner 24 talked about the flea flicker, which we haven't even talked about enough tonight. I thought the flea flicker was like the saddest moment. It's like when I asked my friend Jennifer L. Well, that's not her married name, but her name was Jennifer at the time. Her name's still Jennifer. She has a different last name. It's not L anymore. I asked her for a friendship French when I went to watch Dirty Dancing with her. It was pretty freaking pathetic. I thought the flea flicker was pretty pathetic. I don't know why I just brought that up. Alpha Tiger also called in Cardea, who has not been feeling well, but is feeling better now because he's been drinking White Claw. That is a story he should not have relayed. Because, in my opinion, I don't think that alphas will be drinking White Claw. It's my opinion. Auburn alumni called in earlier, provide a very rational and reasonable. You know what? I'm going to take this call because fuck it, I don't care. Sorry about the cussing there. Caller, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Jay, I know you're not satisfied, but are you good?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
What's going on, JG?
Who I got here on the horn?
Scoot Newton.
Hey, what up, man? How you been?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. Can't complain down here in New Orleans for a little Sugar Bowl, little New Year's Eve fun, New Year's fun.
Shit, why are you down there, bro?
Oh, man, every year I come down here. My family's from Mobile, so me and my grandfather and a couple of my buddies always come down here for New Year's, and we'll go watch the game.
Yeah, but there's Georgia people down there. You better be careful, man.
Hey, I'm wearing my finest green tonight.
Those people are dangerous, man. They might hurt you.
Hey, I can bark right back at them now. I ain't scared.
That's right. I know you. You're an alpha, bro.
I try to be. I'm nothing like Doc Dumpster, but I try to be.
What are you taking from this game, man? What do you do going into the off season? Are you bummed out or what?
Oh, I'm definitely bummed out. So we stopped. So I'm originally from Mobile, so I went home for Christmas break at Mobile, and we on the way to New Orleans, we stopped by the IP Casino, and I'm not a bit better, but Auburn at 7, shit, we're gonna beat them by 21. We're going to beat this Minnesota team by 21. Ain't nothing but 2 stars and 3 stars, and that's what the bunker rates a good team on anyways.
Hell yeah.
So, we're gonna beat them. You know, we're going to beat them by 14, 21 points. We're going to go into the off-season. We're going to get the recruit that can't be named, and it's going to be a good season. And we got manhandled.
Yeah, I got to agree with you on that. Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I know I listened to a little bit of the show earlier. And, B-Matt said that we were, he don't know if it had anything to do with motivation and that we just kind of got out-coached. And I agree that we got out-coached. But at least on the defense side of the ball, man, we did not look motivated. We missed, uncharacteristically just missed tackle after tackle. And we couldn't set the edge.
No, the edge was not being set very well. We can put that on Marlon a little bit. We can put that on Big Cat a little bit. We can put that on Kenny Britt a little bit. I don't know. Jay Lee mentioned a few minutes ago that he didn't think they were playing with enough spirit, and I tend to agree.
I mean, that's kind of why I put the money on the game because I was like, if you have Derek Brown comes back and says he's going to play. You know, I think his quote was that he's going to finish what he started. He's a man of his word. And not that he didn't play good. I thought he played all right. But I just think that, you know, he was coming back. It's, you know, they're all going to be motivated to play. They're extremely motivated to get some wins. And it just didn't look good.
No.
And at this point, you know, I said after the LSU game, I'm just tired of being mediocre. I'm tired of losing 4 games every year. And that's what Gus does. Gus is known to lose 4 games a year. Even our best season besides the 2013 season that we had with him, you know, we were 10-2. We're 1 game away from going to the playoff. He still managed to lose 4 games. I mean, it's a trend.
I know, man. He has a tendency to do this, and you keep thinking he's going to break that trend, but it hasn't happened yet.
It's tough. It's tough. I was talking to my grandfather the other day. He's a graduate from Auburn, and I mean, Auburn's a top 10 program. Auburn's I can't imagine a head coach turning down Auburn because we've always recruited well. You know, we're always right there in the thick of things. So it's a tough job. Definitely Nick Saban across the way, and which I think he's not overrated. But in-game coaching, I don't think he's great. I think he's a really good used car salesman. He gets the best recruits, and he's just their talent-wise. Yeah. Alabama's better now every year. We get a coach in here that can recruit even. I mean, this recruiting class is great. We still need that offensive lineman. We need that one offensive lineman. But this recruiting class is good. We're close. We're real close. I just don't know if Gus can get us over the hump. And I've always said that I'm 1 foot on, 1 foot off with Gus, and I still am. But I mean, it's just what they say. You're insane if you keep doing the same thing and believe it's going to work.
Yeah.
Over and over again, and I mean, it just feels like I keep believing that we're going to finally get over that hump, and we're not. There's no reason why we shouldn't win at least 10 games a year, at least. There's no definitely the bottom half of the SEC is horrible.
Yeah.
Mississippi State's horrible. Joe Moorhead's about to get fired, you know, and old Lane. I'm not worried about old Joey Freshwater. I mean, he'll get some recruits there, but he hasn't proven that he can coach a big time program. Arkansas is going to be bad for the next 10 years. You know, I mean, the bottom half of the SEC is horrible, and there's no reason why that we shouldn't win all those games, which we did this year. And then we should split the Georgia-Bama game, and we should probably beat LSU at least once every 2 years. We should beat them at home every year.
Yeah, you're not split.
I mean, look at this year in Red Stick. We're 3 points away, 1 play away. If DJ Williams don't step out of bounds, we win that game. You know, you can't blame that necessarily on coaching because you teach your running back to get, you know, to the numbers of the hash when he breaks away. But I mean, it's just it's so close, and it's sickening. And I'm tired. I'm tired of it, and I hate to put it on the bowl game that, you know, this is my breaking, you know, point because it's not. But this loss was embarrassing. I'm in New Orleans in a bar watching this game, and I'm you know, decked out in Auburn. You know, I'm gonna love Auburn for 12-0 as well.
Hell yeah.
And I was embarrassed. I got a Minnesota fan chirping at me, thinking that their program is even close to the level that Auburn's is, and right now it probably is, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't even be close. We should. Yeah. I mean, we should have been. I mean, they outcoached us, but they didn't have more talent than us.
No way.
14 to 21 points better than them.
They were more fired up, and they had a better plan. Period.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, PJ Fleck's a hell of a coach. If our board of trustees ever decide to, you know, get away from Gus, and I hope that he'd be one of our phone calls.
Word. Scoot Newton, hey, behave yourself down there, bro.
Do I know?
I need you to behave yourself down there. You got to promise me that you're not going to get into any scuffles with those Georgia people.
Look, JG, I'm a pretty fair guy. I don't go out of my way to do nothing, you know, too dumb. But these Georgia fans, they know how to get underneath the skin. I can't promise something the attitude of a Georgia fan.
Scoot Newton, appreciate you, brother. You behave yourself out there.
Yes, sir. Just same.
See you, bro. Scoot Newton, ladies and gentlemen. One of the good ones. Called in a bunch this year, and I appreciate it very much. John Maine has got an attitude problem, bro. What's your issue? I'm fixing to mute you in the chat, bro. Don't be hating on Scoot Newton. It's one of the good ones. Phil, who's been here like the whole season, says, row the friggin' boat, beat us, SMH. I mean, I understand you're frustrated. It is kind of frustrating. Ed Darby says, why does he try something new? It's a bowl game. Like, why not? Yeah, I don't know, man. Just be a little experimental. I don't know. I know he wanted to win 10 games. Jeff Cheney says, been on the phone with my Bama friend. He said he loves JG's Gus voice when he's on Jocks. I was on a show not too long ago. I can't remember which one it was. I can't remember his name. It was Chuck Oliver's show, and I do the Gus voice on there, and he thinks it sucks, and he like made fun of me. I was like, well, it may suck, but it sounds like us, because there's no doubt. I mean, Christy knows about that more than I do, really. It's like the time I went to the shindig at his house a couple 3 years ago, and I brought him a pot still of Willet, and which I thought was a really nice thing to give him. And he's like, man, I don't know anything about that. Christy, what do you think about this? I was like, don't say that. Just say thanks, man. It's all good. And Gus doesn't drink. I think that Gus has had alcohol in his system in the relatively recent past, but. Anyway, he says he doesn't drink at all. I don't think that's true. And then Christy was like, oh, that's really good. Christy's really nice. And I was like, Gus, come on, man. Be cool. We got a super chat here from Call Me Biscuit. Great name, by the way. He says he tried to send $17. That's good stuff, man. Thank you for the super chat, bro, and for your support of. I see you a lot on the website. So thank you very much for that. Ed Darby says Minnesota had better wideouts. Absolutely. Chip says Chuck Oliver didn't dig it. That is correct. And last time I was on Chuck's show, I was actually I was listening to the Eagles. I don't like the Eagles. It happened to be New Kid in Town, which I think is a great song. I detest the Eagles, but that particular song is really good. And I was mentioning it to him, and I think he was pissed off that I had shit on the Eagles. I don't know why anybody would care that much about the Eagles. And furthermore, I'm going to call out some of my fellow beat writers on this. We're having a conversation after a recent basketball game, because there's a period of time between when the game ends and when we get BP. It's usually like about 30 minutes. And we're waiting for BP to show up. And we were talking about the greatest American rock band. And I'm going to name names because I'm a dick. Jeff Shearer. John Zener from the Associated Press, Justin Lee from the OA News. We're trying to say that the Eagles, the fucking Eagles, were the greatest American rock band. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? The Eagles? I don't know who it is, but it ain't the Eagles. Another shout out to Call Me Biscuit for another super chat. He says he's given me this one for banning a local vertical. Yeah, I think we're better off without a local vertical. I just got tired of his business. He may come back one of these days, but just not impressed with him at all. The Canoe Man has the correct take. He says the Eagles suck. I completely agree. I don't like the Eagles. They have a couple good songs. I think New Kid in Town is a terrific song. I think Hotel California is pretty good. I mean, I would give that a B+. It's a good song. But this stuff like Take It Easy, Take It to the Limit, that is garbage. It's terrible. And Jeff Cheney comes through with the group that I particularly thought was the greatest American rock band. He says Van Halen. I understand if you're mad about Sammy Hagar. I was not a huge fan of that myself. But I'm talking about Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2, Women and Children First, Diver Down. Terrific records. So, do with that what you will. AU Taxman says, are the Eagles even rock? It's more like soft pop. Yeah, I tend to agree. They actually got a little more into country. I'm not trying to rag on country, but Dan Webb says Allman Brothers. There were some folks that were advocating for that. I'm not the biggest Allman Brothers fan, but I like them better than the Eagles. Janster71 says Eagles are far and away the greatest American rock band. What are you smoking, JGT? No chance. The Beach Boys are better than the Eagles. I think this is a very defensible position. The Beach Boys are terrific. Early Van Halen, let's say the first 5 records, terrific. Aerosmith, you can make an argument for. They're definitely better than the Eagles. Joe Pirate says CCR. I think Creedence Clearwater Revival are better than the Eagles, significantly so. They have so many records, so many singles that people know, and they just don't realize they know CCR songs. They're awesome. And also for Aerosmith, their Rock and Roller Coaster at Hollywood Studios is a terrific ride. I enjoy it. Jeff Cheney even goes so far as to say the Eagles are not actually a rock band. Chip says the only Eagles that matter are the ones that fly good. That's a great answer right there. Do the Eagles fly good? I love Low Roller says Led Zeppelin. I was also making the argument for these folks who were arguing about the Eagles, which is bullshit, that we could actually consider AC/DC an American band, even though they weren't formed in America, and even though most of their guys, technically from a percentage perspective, are from England. The drummer was American, so we could claim him, and maybe we could say AC/DC was American, and I happen to like AC/DC a lot, but Jeff Cheney says Zeppelin is British. Dude, we know. I was kind of kidding. The Beatles don't... Unless Liverpool is moved, I don't think they're going to be counted either. But anyway, for me, it would be CCR, Van Halen, or Aerosmith, probably. Or I was also arguing that Bruce Springsteen, even though I know he's not a band, he always plays the E Street Band, so you could say that they're an act, maybe, and he's probably right up there too. I'm not the world's biggest Springsteen fan. As a sports writer, I'm supposed to love Springsteen, but I don't really. I respect him, but his music just doesn't speak to me for whatever reason. And Pearl Jam, same thing. I like them. They're fine. I respect them. I just don't listen to the music a lot, but whatever. Foo Fighters also there. Mama Doodat says cosign on CCR, although he does like the Eagles. And then Robert Edwards says Rush. Why would it not be Rush, Courtney? Because they're from Canada. You're right. Absolutely. I love Rush. I would get in a fight for Rush. I've been to 4 Rush shows. I wish I could have gone to about 400. But they are Canadian, unfortunately. Men at Work. Somebody says they're from Australia. Jeff Cheney says Smashing Pumpkins. They are from America, but I don't know. I don't think they're quite in that. Although Smashing Pumpkins, if you were going like band's 3 greatest songs, for me, for Smashing Pumpkins, it would be Zero. Love the song Zero. Tonight, and then probably for me it would be Cherub Rock. Those are really good songs. I mean, you could say Today is a great song. 1979 is a great song. Bullet with Butterfly Wings is a great song. They're just hard to love because their lead singer, Billy Corgan's kind of a dick. I got a call coming in, but man, seriously, we're over 3 hours now, guys. I just kind of feel like I'm wearing out. What does my administrative assistant think? She thinks I'm a nerd because I know all this stuff. The Canoe Man knew about 1979. Love the Cat says Eurythmics. I think they're Scottish, actually. Yeah. Dan Webb says ZZ Top. They are absolutely 100% American. Texas, the Texas Rockers. Chip says Cherub Rock destroys my radio, like in a good way or a bad way. I don't know. Jeff Cheney says Chili Peppers. I do like them. I just don't know how good they are in the grand scheme of things. I mean, I like them. I came so close, and this is before I met my wife, but when I was on SAB, I don't even know if you know this story, I was within $5,000 of getting Chili Peppers to play at Trancy. Why are you doing that? That's absolutely true. You can ask your friend Beth. She knows. Because she thought it was bullshit. She wasn't going to be behind me on this. Because she didn't like me. She thought I was profane and gross. But for $25,000, I was going to get the Chili Peppers to play the soccer field at Transylvania University. This is before Blood Sugar Sex Magic came out. This is when Mother's Milk was like their hit, their big record at the time. And Higher Ground was their big song. And for $25,000, I could have had them at Transy. I had $20,000 raised. Well, we had $25,000. My biggest problem was going to be that the soccer coach wouldn't let us use the soccer field for the concert. He was afraid it was going to get trashed. It would not have been trashed. The Pikes would have been completely on their P's and Q's. No drugs. No slutty women. no public sex, no alcohol at all. Obviously, we hated alcohol, so we would have been fine. Brian Harbach, actually great point. Metallica. How could I not? Metallica. Metallica is the greatest American rock band, right? You're absolutely right. A lot of people would say that's metal. I think the definition of metal has gone a little bit further out than where Metallica is now. But I listen to more Metallica than anything when it comes to American music, I think. You like Metallica? She says no. A little too hard? It's just too hard for you? You like Celine Dion, though. I don't like Celine Dion. Yes, you do. You do. Soundgarden, also brought up. Very good band. One that I don't necessarily love myself, but I respect them very much. And R.I.P. to their lead singer, who's a good one. Jeff Cheney says, classic Van Halen is tops coming from a musician. See what I'm saying? And your wife's a musician, too, so I would respect y'all's opinion over me. Love the Cat says Gwar. I happen to love Gwar. I haven't listened to their music lately, but they used to have an album in 88 or 89 called Scum Dogs of the Universe, and I loved it. They had a song called Maggots, and I used to play it so loud in my Grand National. It was like, maggots are falling like rain. You would love Gwar. We ought to go to a Gwar show, me and you, administrative assistant. What's the last show you and I went to? Was it Rush? Steel Panther. Shit, that's right. That was in like September. I love Steel Panther. I would seriously follow them around the country if I could. I'm serious. No, I would. I'd go to like 10 shows in a row because it's my scene. Those are my people. Like, those are my kind of girls. And what now? I love the people that go to Steel Panther shows. It's you. They were telling, remember when Michael Starr told you to take your top off? You didn't do it, though. I know. You didn't do it. Low Roller says Limp Biscuit. I don't think so. I don't think so. All right, we're probably going to wrap it up, guys. Seriously, we've been 3 hours in. I mean, seriously. I do want to give a shout out to our callers, and I was mentioning these folks earlier. Ruxpin, Mama Dudat, The Runner 24, Alpha Tiger, Cardea. Hope you're feeling better, Cardea. Auburn alumni, AU Goat. My man, AU Goat, incidentally, he and his wife went to Germany like 2 or 3 years ago and went to a Bayern Munich game. I'm jealous as fuck about that. B-Matt called in, of course, my man. He's on his way back now with Jason. Hope they drive safely. Against the Spread. Wanted to talk about basketball, but that's cool. We love basketball. They're undefeated, and we're going to be covering the hell out of them. Jay Lee from the outer reaches of the forest. Doc Dumpsta, S-Town enthusiast, and we wrapped up with Scootin' Newton. Some folks who missed this time, but we'll pick them up next time. I do want to give a special shout out and extra love to our friends Fleetwood Mac. Well, I guess we can claim some of Fleetwood Mac. I know that Stevie Nicks is American, but Mick Fleetwood is not. Christine McVie is not. John McVie is not. I don't know about Lindsey Buckingham. I don't know if he's American or not, honestly. Jimmy Holcomb says he went to a Gwar show in 88 and then Guadalcanal Diary in the same year. That is definitely both ends of the spectrum there. Brian says Tool is great. I do like Tool. I'm not as familiar with their songs as I should be, but they're good. I want to give seriously a special shout out to our super chatters. BP Rockman started things off. Joker started things off as well right at the top. Hornatius ×2. DXH, Fat Crack, Kenny MF Powers, one of our favorite TV characters. Mine. I don't know about wifey. SSIM, Sasim, Spread Attack U18. Special congratulations on that one, or thank you on that one. Appreciate you very much. And we're going to be giving you shout outs for like a couple weeks on that one. Tyler F., last name redacted. Thank you for your support. A friend of ours from rebelgroves.com. AU Taxman, huge. Thank you very much for your support of the show. Jarrett C., I know who you are. Thank you for your support. And Call Me Biscuit. No, we were talking about that earlier. I did have a poll, well, not an official poll, but I was asking folks if they wanted me to do a show on Saturday or if I should cover the game from Mississippi State directly because I can't do both. I think I'm going to do a show here. So we'll do the game, and I will be on on Saturday after the Mississippi State game. I will be on right away. Like there will be no delay. It'll be within 5 minutes of the game ending. So we'll give that a shot. If it doesn't work out and there's not a lot of folks on the show or whatever, then we'll just punt it and we'll work on something else. I don't know if this format works well for basketball or doesn't. We kind of picked this up this year for football, so we'll see if it picks up and holds. If not, that's cool too. So anyway, guys, thank you for this awesome season of football brain drains. God, there's so many of you guys I want to thank individually who have just been here and supported us so much. TD's been there. Jeff Cheney. Chip has been there the whole way. Brian H., last name redacted, you've been here the whole time. Chase has been here a whole bunch. Golly, I mean, Hornatius. Spread Attack has been here the whole way. Cleveland Brown's been here the whole way. Phil Petway's been here the whole way. Ed Darby's been here a bunch the whole season. God, there's so many. I feel like I'm gonna leave out, folks. It makes me sick to my stomach to think I'd leave you guys out. Alpha Tiger's been here the whole way. Of course, Biscuit's been here. God, so many folks. MW Deeve has been here the whole way. Dadgummit, I know I'm gonna leave people out, and I don't want to do that, but I'm so appreciative of you guys. Jimmy, you've been here so much too. Thank you so much. So we went officially almost 3 hours and 10 minutes this time, and that's about as long as that football game lasted too. Great stuff there. I have taped this. We will be putting that up for our folks who listen on the RSS feed for a podcast form. So those of you who are out in your cars, working later in the week, we're there for you guys. All right. Appreciate you. For those of you who want to be on the Basketball Brain Drain, we'll be here Saturday. That game's at 3:30, I think, Central Time. So we'll probably be on the air around 5:30 or 6, and we'll see what happens then. Until then, guys, a Happy New Year. Thank you so much for supporting what we do here on the show and at auburnsports.com. I know a lot of you guys are subscribers, and you guys behave yourself. One other thing I want to note, you guys might have seen on the bunker that one of the Georgia Tech signees unfortunately died by suicide the other day, and I made the point in the bunker, but I wasn't kidding. If you guys ever feel like you're in a position where you're thinking about things like that, seriously, DM me, call the suicide prevention hotline that I posted there in the bunker, and I will do that again. You need to talk to someone. I'm here for you. I'm not a licensed therapist, but I give a shit about you guys. There's a lot of people that care about you guys. DM me. Don't do anything rash and crazy like that, okay? Seriously. You're loved and you've got value, and don't ever feel like you're all alone like that. That stuff, I mean, I don't even know that kid. I don't even know the name. I read the story this morning and I was crying about it, literally crying tears about it, and I felt weird about it, but I just don't want you guys to ever feel that way. So don't. This is a family for you guys. It's a family for me too. So really. All right. Be good out there. Appreciate you guys. See you next time.